Okay, well the audio's live, so I'll be live in just a sec. It's not showing. It's not showing up. What the fuck is happening? God damn it. No, Dude, I'm trying to put a title on my fucking video. Okay, now you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Still not showing up. I don't see it live on the page. Do you see it live on the page? What? Okay, I can't see it on the Mock News page. All right, hi everybody. Let's see, number 8. Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Is it okay? Does it sound okay? I know. We're working on it, Dwayne. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, those are fractals. I love fractals. Thank you. Good. I'm glad everyone is here. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. It's always better when you're here. Changes to terms of service. What? Why is it popping up in the middle of my fucking live show? It says, changes to YouTube terms of service. Like, like you know, uh, you have to agree to the terms of service, but it's unconstitutional. I'm pretty sure what you're agreeing to is unconstitutional, and 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 it's illegal to agree to nullify your rights. It's just not. It's not something that you can really do. Whoa. Um, let me see. 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 There I am. Hello, everybody. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I love fractals. Fractals are what everything on this particular planet is made of. It may be what everything in the universe is made of, but this is the building blocks that make up humans and animals and plants and water and every single thing on this planet. Uh, it's also a mathematical equation. Let's see. Oh, I know. We need a bong head. That's what I need. Where's my fucking torch? Oh, I hate it when this happens. Where's my fucking torch? Oh no! Alright, I'll be right back. Hold on, just a minute. Here's my fucking torch. Oh! Oh! I got it! I got my torch right here. I got it. I got it. Oh man! Oh, what a life! It's so weird that the blue screen doesn't do this. This isn't all fractal. It would be cool if this was all fractals. You guys would be going, whoa, how's he doing that? All right, so let's see. Oh, good news, everyone. Tulsi Gabbard has qualified for the November debate. Okay, now this I just saw this about 4 hours ago, and it's something you think that everyone would be talking about because when fuckhead Amy Klobuchar qualified for the November debate, it was big news. Everybody needs to know Amy's in it. Amy's in it. Fuck Amy Klobuchar. Okay? When she can fucking talk without her voice trembling like she's about to cry, then maybe she might be qualified to be president. Until that time, I don't think so, Amy. Plus, I seriously doubt there's ever going to be a fucking president named Amy. So you know. No offense, Amy. Ooh, Amy Klobuchar qualified for the debate. Fuck Amy Klobuchar. Tulsi motherfucking Gabbard is going to be in the November debate, and she is going to destroy everyone. Okay, now, let's see. Where are we at? Acting. All right. So UTN is working on a Canadian care package for Mox News. She's going to give me some a hat for keep me warm in the winter, a Canadian hat made by her, and some goodies. She wants to know if there's Canadian chips that she should send. Anybody know of Canadian chips that I need to eat? I already eat too many chips, so that's why I told her I said I already eat too many chips. So uh, oh, and she's sending me. You're sending me a curly whirly, right? Right. UTN curly whirly, right? She said that's her favorite. It's curly whirly. I'm like, ooh, I want one of those. I never had a curly whirly, but it looks really good. Can you guys hear me out there? Is this thing on? I'm trying to do something. How rude. Hello, caller.
Mike, it's Donald Trump.
Mr. President, how are you tonight?
Well, you weren't getting any calls, so I thought I'd make your show huge. It's going to be huge tonight because I called in. Huge. Which, if you'd like a little secret, I'm sitting here with Bernie Sanders, and are having a talk. And I don't think he's going to be making it very much further. And maybe your girl Tulsi there, she might be the one running against me there. Would you like to talk to Bernie?
If Tulsi's running against you, you're going bye-bye, Mr. President.
Oh, I know, it'd be huge.
Tulsi's going to be huge. There's no doubt about that.
American people know it. I know it. You know it. Now, hold on a minute. Hey, Bernie.
Yeah, Mr. Trump. Yeah, hello. It's Bernie Sanders.
Hello? Bernie! My brother!
Donald's a little bit busy there. He and Melania are going to dinner somewhere, and I guess they're going to take off the private jet to Mar-a-Lago or something like that.
I don't believe
I'm
that
out on
for a
the
second.
campaign trail.
Trump,
Just letting you know,
Donald and Melania do not eat dinner together. Now I know you're bullshitting me.
No. Wait a minute here. Hold on. Now that he's a Florida resident, from the Texas, he's going to be with Melania a lot more because I have to look like a real couple. So yeah, but right now they're going to jump on Air Force One and spend about maybe $400,000 or $500,000 American taxpayers' money to fly down there to Florida. And I'm going to stay here on the campaign trail up in Vermont. Very proud of myself. Got a healthy heart. I've stopped eating the Ben and Jerry's ice cream, so no, can't have that anymore.
No, Ben and Jerry's is the good fat, Bernie. That's the good fat.
My doctor says I can't have all that fat.
Fuck doctors! Hate fucking doctors.
I don't know. So I hear there's something called, they're trying to make new memes now for Elizabeth Warren.
Oh,
you know her, right?
Is that right?
They're saying they talked about maybe how Trump was able to get so much more traction in the primaries last time because he had so many people getting on the Trump train. So this time around, it's they're going to call it the Warren wagon. I don't know if I like it. Because I don't know. I don't know what we could use for Bernie. Maybe the Colonel Sanders chicken farm, something like that.
The Warren wagon. So we have to round the wagons for Pocahontas. Is that right?
They say they want some kind of memes, maybe politically making everybody come together for Elizabeth Warren. But I don't think so. I think better maybe you would want to see a picture of Tulsi Gabbard in a bathing suit on a surfboard. Maybe that would be a hanging 10 to run for president.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
but
don't you think she would make a good vice president, Bernie?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I have to run. I'm going to be going to dinner with Bill and Hillary tonight.
Oh, well.
They're having me over. And hold on. I think I see Bill Clinton. Hey, Bill, come here. Talk to Mark. Okay, Mark. Hold on. I get Bill.
Okay, Bernie. Thanks for the call.
Hey, wait a minute. I think I stole the phone away from Bill Clinton. Hold on. This is your buddy, George W. Bush. How you doing there, Mike?
Shrubby.
I know you don't like me very much. You don't like me very much. I know.
Shrubby.
Hey, stop telling me what to do. You're still telling me what to do. I hear you like that clip. When I flipped off the camera. That's right. That's because I'm a tough guy. I'm a war president, right?
Yeah, play that video, Craig.
I have to see if he can find that for you because that was pretty funny, me flipping off the camera, right?
Yeah, I love that video.
Stop telling you what to do. I'm a war president. The people's president, right?
I
know what's the mass destruction over here. Maybe they over here.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Take care of Saddam.
That is not
Everybody's
funny.
Been trying to,
that is not funny.
They've been trying to take care of world leaders ever since, but I started it. All right, you just remember old Bushy. You miss me yet?
No,
you miss
we will never forget you, my war criminal.
Well, I'm either going to be down in Crawford clearing brush on my ranch, or I might run up to Daddy's house in Kennebunkport. You know, come on up to Kennebunkport in the wintertime. It's awful cold up there. We'll be flying the flag if we're around.
Oh, yeah, they got that legal reefer up there, Georgie?
Hey, I ain't saying nothing about the legal reefer ever since I sold that baseball team. I put my better days behind me when I was in the Air National Guard down there in Texas. I owned me a baseball team. I had some oil fields, and my brother was supposed to be president, not me. He knew that Daddy liked him best, right? Daddy always liked Jebby better than me. All
right, now, I'm not going to let you talk to Bill Clinton. He's a little bit busy. Hillary's got him on the ground with a ball gag in his mouth right now.
All right.
He got a big old butt plug, and he's crawling around like one of them.
It sounds like one of your parties, Georgie.
All right, now, you take it all good there, Mikey.
All right, thanks
Good
for
talking
calling.
with you.
Thanks for
Bye
calling.
now.
All right, so what a way to start the show, huh? Okay, so let's see. Where were we at? Tulsi Gabbard has made the November debates. Do you know who's happy about that? Like every single American, except for her competitors, except for those who say she's not a real Democrat. You know, it's like they said the same thing about Bernie in 2016. We saw the grassroots force that we were able to make happen and get behind Bernie in 2016. It was huge, as Trumpy liked to say. It was huge, and it was big enough where it actually pretty much destroyed Hillary Clinton. Okay, now we don't want to destroy whoever the nominee is, but we want this to be a huge wave of support for Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so once again, Tulsi Gabbard has done something that she deserves a donation for. And you know, you have never seen me out here ever pushing for a donation for a political candidate. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. Never in 16 years covering 5 presidential elections now, never have I said donate. Okay, until Tulsi came along. She's different, and again, she with all these gatekeepers doing everything they can, putting up every hurdle they can to keep her from being able to qualify for the debates. She still was able to get over that hurdle. Okay, and that's the Democrats putting those hurdles in the way. They don't want her on the debate stage. Okay, so she has earned another donation from everyone who cares about the election, whichever side of the election you care about, whether it's the turd sandwich or the giant douche. Okay, whichever side you care about, she earned another donation. She earned a donation for saying Hillary Clinton was the queen of the warmongers and the rot, the personification of rot that is destroying the Democratic Party. No truer words have ever been spoken, ever. Okay? So, especially not by some political candidate. So, boom, she deserves a donation. Now, Tulsi Gabbard then went on to say that every American should stand up for 9/11 truth. Okay, do you understand how long Americans have been waiting to hear someone say something like that in the mainstream, in the public? You know? Play it! You know how long they've been waiting for that? Forever. And Tulsi Gabbard stood up and said every American should stand up for 9/11 truth. Okay, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your politics are. I don't really care. You know, it's like I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're homosexual. I don't care. I don't care what your fucking religion is. The last thing I want to fucking know. I'd rather know that you're homo than what your fucking religion is. Okay? I don't care. Okay? What I know is truth matters. And that we don't get it from anybody. And that this girl's fighting for it. She's fighting for truth for everyone. Okay? And I haven't seen this before. You know, I've seen a smooth talker like Barack Obama, Slick Willie, you know, playing the sax, being so cool. Slick Willie up there saying, I love you. I love you. That's why I'm doing this, because I love you. You know, I mean, you know, he's, you know, but that's not what's being said here. What's being said here is that bitch over there is the worst kind of human being on the planet. And the Democratic Party worship her like she's the queen of everything. She's fucking it all up. That's what Tulsi said. Truth. Okay? Deserves a donation. Every American should stand up for 9/11 truth. That's fucking truth. Deserves a truth like you haven't heard before on the political presidential campaign. No one's heard this. No one's heard this ever. We've been waiting to hear. I've been waiting since fucking 2001 to hear this shit. Okay? Today, she did something that they thought she would not be able to do, which is qualify for the presidential in November. They thought they had her blocked out. So, the most important thing to do is say, we hear you, Tulsi. We see what you're doing, and we love it, and we want you to do it more. Do it for all of us, Tulsi. All of us who've been waiting to hear it. All of us have been waiting to see it. Please, Tulsi, go and give Tulsi Gabbard a donation. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi2020.com. Go give Tulsi a donation. Because she earned it. She fucking earned it. Like no other presidential candidate ever. Even if it was $1. Just to let her know. It's like me, you know, I come out here. I don't ever beg you guys to give me a bunch of money. I beg for $5 or pizza money. You know, that's all I'm looking for is some money for pizza. And then I'll know that somebody appreciating what it is that I did. You know, she needs to know that all the Americans who appreciate what she's doing. Okay? So, take 2 minutes out of your busy world and go to TulsiGabbard.com and say, girl, I hope you go all the way. And I'm so glad you're part of this right now. Thank you so much for putting your neck out on the line for all of us. Again and again and again. Okay, so we got that going for us. What's next? I cannot read these comments and try and talk to you guys at the same time. I'll get completely distracted and I will not know what's happening. So, someone needs to call. Yeah, like. Right. Bash that fucking like button right now. I want to see that fucker double. Alright, so, read. No, don't stop telling me what to do. She's still telling me what to do. Alright, so let's see. The telephone number is 805-669-6397. In case you can't read it, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. Maybe you can't see it on your screen. I don't know. Maybe you're looking on a little tiny screen. I don't know. But the telephone number is 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. Thank you. Hello, caller.
The sound sucks.
It does. What's it sound like?
It sounds like you got the air conditioner on full blast.
Huh. Craig? Really?
Yeah.
No one said that except for you. Is that how everybody thinks?
That's because everyone else is asleep.
Okay. Craig, is it hissing or not?
It's hissing. But on the phone, it's okay. You sound good on the phone.
Okay.
So I don't know maybe you got too much input or something. I don't know. You might want to adjust it a little bit.
Oh, okay. I can adjust. You think me talking is making it hiss then? How about now? Is that better?
Well, I'm not listening to it right now. I'm on the phone with you. You have to ask your other one.
Okay. Well, is it hissing? Because nobody else said it was hissing. Sound is fine. That's what people are telling me. Sound is 9 out of 10.
Don't listen to those assholes. Come on, man. I wouldn't lie to you.
So, better. Someone said better. So I turned it down a little bit, but whatever.
Okay.
Thank you. So what else is happening?
You're welcome. Tulsi Gabbard made it, huh?
That's what I just read 3 hours ago on thehill.com.
Yeah, she did a good job on the V.
Yeah,
those
women are crazy, man. I don't know.
Totally.
It's like, but I mean, women are just crazy. You know, I mean, no
They
offense,
are.
ladies. I
They
mean,
are.
you get one by themselves in a room and you say women are crazy, and they'll shake their head in agreement every time.
Yes.
You know, so and I apologize, ladies. I wish it wasn't true. I'm just stating facts. Um,
It's totally true.
unfortunately, um, but but I digress. Um, you know,
What's that thing behind you?
it's a
It's like,
fractal. Don't you know what a fractal is?
my God, it's frightening.
It's a mathematical equation that goes on for infinity.
Jesus Christ.
It's
It looks like it's going to eat you.
it's what everything in the universe is made out of, as far as my brain tells me.
Oh shit! I got to get out of here.
Okay, it's coming for you, dude.
All right, man. Well, that's all I got to say.
What's your name?
I'm hot retarded chick.
Oh, HRC. It's good to hear from
Yeah.
you, man.
Oh, good to see you again.
Okay, well, what do you think of the new studio?
Great. I like it. I like
See,
it.
if you had told
Once
me
you fix
that
the
it was,
sound, it'll be
if you had
perfect.
told me it was HRC, then I would know that the sound was hissing. But you tell me you're like, hey man, fuck you, it sounds like shit. I'm like, okay, well, who are you again? All right, well, thanks, man.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
This is nice of him to call. Since no one else is, whatever the deal is. Is it you're not calling because the sound is bad? Is that what's happening? Craig, did you leave, Craig? I think Craig left. He's got a date tonight. Uh-oh. I think that's too much information to share. Hope I didn't get you in trouble, Craig. All right, so let's see. Um, let's see. Okay, so we were talking about Tulsi and Hillary, and you know, and we had a bong hit, and now we're here. We got a phone call. HRC called. He hasn't called for a while. That's nice to hear from him. He seems very cool. I wish he could tell me who it is at the beginning, and I would be like, well, who the fuck are you again? Because I know who it is. You know? You hear what I'm saying? Okay, so I took the dogs on a nice walk today. We walked, we didn't get any off-leash time. I'm going to have to get video of it so I can put it up on the wall behind me when I talk about it. Hello? 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 What? Hello? Is it not sound good?
Oh,
Hello?
there you are.
Hello?
Hello, Mike. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, right?
South Park Day. Fucking A.
There we go. Happy Wednesday. Congratulations. You're perpetually being eaten by a giant amoeba or something like that.
It's a fractal.
What you got going on? Fractal?
It's a fractal.
Yeah, well, my epilepsy's kicking in because of your fractals, dude.
It should be bigger. Because
No, it's cool. I love fractals too. The whole universe is based on fractals.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, the way I understand, you know, the universe and this planet and what's happening here, this is pretty much what it's made out of right here. This is the building blocks that every piece of matter is made out of.
Not just matter.
Not
Even
just,
time.
I thought, you know, the second I said that, I thought, you know, he's going to correct me on that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, even time repeats in these fractals. You know, like World War One, World War Two, the French Revolution, Occupy Wall Street.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought. I'd never thought of that before.
Yeah. Well, there's even Terence McKenna came up with that with his what do you call it? Time wave zero theory, based on kind of paralleling the I Ching. I don't know if you know about the I Ching, but the I Ching also notices repeats in history, and so yeah, fractals don't just affect the material world like the molecular world or the astronomic world. They affect the cycles of time as far as human as the human condition goes, as history, wars, Renaissance periods, all that. All fractals are everything, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I said, I never considered that time being part of a, on a fractal kind of repeat timeline, But that makes sense because I see it over and over again. Everything just keeps coming back, and I don't know if it's that man can't come up with something new, they can't come up with an original thought or what. But it's like it just everything seems to repeat in cycles. So it does make sense that that's what we see in the fractals again and again and again. It's just the same forever.
Well, when you talk to astrologers, and I take astrology with the grain of salt, but and it's such a big body of knowledge, I never try to study it. But you talk to astrologers, and they talk about repeating patterns in history. Oh, you have to watch, like the Ides of March and things like that, where the Caesar was assassinated, and these things, they come back, and so, Ronald Reagan had a fucking astrologer, told him, you can only eat 13 jelly beans today, otherwise you'll get shot, stuff like that. But
yeah.
And the yugas of the Hindus, the Kali Yuga, the Treta Yuga, and these repeating cycles of time, which are actually based on the precession of the equinox. I'm sure you heard of that. Where I think in Jesus' time we were in the age of Pisces. We still might be. We're about to go into the age of Aquarius, but before that was the age of Aries, the age of war, and the Ram, and so that's fractals and interdimensional physics and all that stuff actually seem to be quite relevant to history and certain systems of knowledge that the Chinese knew with their I Ching and the repeating pattern of 64, that they would, you can throw dice and apparently predict whether or not your wife's going to have a miscarriage or something like that,
Well, they do the I Ching, they do it with coins, don't they?
As far as I never done it. I tried to study it, and I figured it's a little bit beyond what I want to put my time into, but it's pretty interesting. As far as I know, people throw dice, but yeah, they might use coins. I know personally an old guy that looks like Gandalf who he casts ruins, Norse ruins, and he knows everything about it, and it's pretty interesting and it's pretty cool, but I'm a feet on the ground kind of guy, meat and potatoes dude, and it's like, I'll study that stuff to a certain extent, but to get good at astrology, you got to spend your whole life at astrology. I don't want to be like some nut job that, can't recognize reality. I'm more interested in material reality. It's not that I'm not spiritual, but Jesus ain't coming back, man. Jesus ain't coming back.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's hard to even keep track of what really did happen. But I don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you.
My astrologer told me.
But Dwayne says that we didn't land on the moon. So did we do that, Mr. Reality?
Well, he also hates gay black people who jump the fence and stuff like that. So Dwayne says
that just may be his persona online,
Yeah, well, my Arabic friend told me Dwayne means donkey in Arabic, so I'm just gonna go with what I know, and I'm sure Dwayne is really cool. I'll bet you money he's about 35, he's a working class dude, but it's not cool to tell somebody, sorry Dwayne, it's not cool to say, hey.
Well, you're the one who kind of brought him up.
Okay, well, I'll drop him then, but
okay.
I don't tell people from other countries to pick up my trash and stuff like that,
Yeah. No, I just thought you might want to, if you're going to talk about Jesus coming back and such, you might want to talk about the moon landing. So maybe you knew something about that to help have Dwayne have better insight also. I didn't know. I just thought, hey, okay, this is what Dwayne's saying. Since you're talking about Dwayne.
I'm pretty sure the Earth isn't flat, but I don't have an opinion either way on the moon landing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, as far as I know, I'm leaning towards there actually was a moon landing. What do you think?
Mm, you know, I would have to say, why? How come we have never gone back to the moon if we landed on it? You know, that's my main question. Because if we had done it in 19 whenever 69, is that right? If we done it in
69, yeah.
1969, then then you know, it seems like it would be much easier to do now, and we would be there on a regular basis, but that's just not happening. So I don't
But I
understand
don't,
that part of it. You know,
when I first got a computer,
that part of it doesn't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, when I first got a computer, UFOs was one of the first things I studied, and I went all the way into it to the very bottom of it, and then I realized, okay, well, UFOs is an actual verifiable historical phenomenon, going all the way back into time. And so what? You know, if they're not going to come down and meet us, I'm going to concentrate on 9/11, and I'm going to concentrate on public corruption. I'm going to concentrate on the chemical companies killing the planet. And I'm going to concentrate on all these massacres happening right now on Earth. And when the lizard man comes down and wants to either eat me or shake my hand, or the Anunnaki land and enslave us all and take our gold, that's when I'll pay more attention to the UFO shit. It's like, I care about the Rohingya.
But then it will be too late, and you won't have the ability to pay attention to it, will you?
I got my pulsar weapon on my roof mounted, and my neighbors think I'm crazy.
Oh, well. You got your potato cannon up there, too?
Yeah, I tried it once, but it didn't hit the freaking UFO.
Somebody told me you could take those things down with one of those.
Then it turned out it wasn't a UFO. It was just a fucking drone at night. So,
oh, those things are hard to hit.
Yeah, too far away. But no, it's like, man, it's like, okay, I know that we're not alone in the universe. Maybe they got the what's that Star Trek thing? The first laws of non-interference or something like that.
Well, you said that they're not coming down and they're not like talking to us or whatever. But apparently they are, according to a lot of people who say that they've been taken on board spaceships and stuff like that. You know.
Well, when you really get into it, you realize 75% of all the nonsense is just nonsense. And it's so hard to wade through it, it's like trying to drink clean water out of a sewer.
Yeah.
So, it's like astrology. It's like so many things that is such a deep body of knowledge that's been polluted. It's like, well, what can I do? I can't talk to aliens. Every time I do, my neighbors think I'm crazy. So I'm going to concentrate on all the imperialistic wars and finding out about World War II and World War I. And
but then your government thinks you're crazy.
Fuck the government, man.
You don't care. What about your neighbors? You're caring about what people think. I mean, look. You talked about that you don't give a fuck what people think. So you don't care if your neighbors think you're crazy. I already know that. So, I mean, look, the deal is I've seen UFOs. Okay, I know that they exist. I'm not talking about some little thing that was a drone. Okay. I've seen a UFO the size of a mountain. Okay.
Wow.
Like right next to the highway where a lot of other people saw it, and it's otherworldly. And one of the ways I know that it was this kind of otherworldly thing that happened was there was 3 other people with me in the car. This was before everybody had cell phones with cameras on them.
And how many of the people were flying in the car?
The day before, some people were flying in the car.
Okay, go ahead. I believe you, Mike. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But it was festival season. It was, anyways. We're going to pick up these girls, right? And the guy's driving the car, and my girlfriend starts going crazy. She's like she starts bawling, like crying. What if I never get to see my mom again? Because of this fucking thing that we just saw in the sky, right?
Right.
The guy who's driving the car pulls the car over into a Safeway parking lot off the freeway, into a Safeway grocery store parking lot, and pulls a shotgun out of the trunk and starts loading the shotgun. Okay?
Wow.
So, and then I saw UFOs again that night when I was still with those people, and I didn't tell them about it because I didn't want them freaking out more. I had to grab the guy who was loading the shotgun and say, look, dude, look the fuck around you. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? Look around you. What do you see? Nothing is happening. Okay? Just keep it together. If something is happening, I promise we will stop and deal with it immediately. Right now, nothing is happening. Just keep it together. But my girlfriend.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. Is I can't do anything about the UFOs, but there is something happening on planet Earth that I can learn about and do something about. And I hate to. I know you don't want to. I hate to harp on the religion thing, but I'm a trained Vedic person. Before I got on the internet, I've spent 20 years reading Vedic literature and being trained in the Indian ways, because I live in the most new age fucking city on the planet, and everybody here thinks they're fucking Rama or Shiva or Kali or a fucking guru. So I actually went into it. I've read the secret doctrines. I've read the Mahabharata. I've read the philosophers. But so fuck all that shit. But the point of the matter is, what you're looking at with the UFO thing is an actual spiritual, or what you would call an interdimensional phenomenon. And since that's what Vedic knowledge is, I recognize it as such. But I can't do anything about ghosts, and I can't do anything about interdimensional beings, and I can't even shoot my potato cannon at a UFO because I'm such a klutz. But I can do something about Palestine. I can do something about the Rohingya. I can do something about Chile and Venezuela. I can do something like Occupy Wall Street. So it's not that I'm oblivious to the larger spiritual interdimensional phenomenon that's human life. I know I'm not my body, but I have to live in my body, and so does everybody else. And right now, there might as well be lizard people running the fucking government, because they act like lizard people.
Yep.
They think like lizard people.
Yep.
They're eating us just like lizard people would.
Yep.
So I'm going to be a revolutionary instead of a fucking ufologist, You get my point?
Yeah. No, I completely understand what you're saying. I mean, you have to, it's like the weather, man. I can't do anything about the weather. Let's stop talking about the fucking weather and do something about pollution, okay? Like I keep saying. The weather. You can't do anything about the fucking weather. It doesn't matter if it's raining outside. The dog still wants to go for a walk. Dog doesn't care about the weather. I don't care about the weather. It doesn't fucking matter.
Right now, there's a giant Sasquatch within 10 miles of you right now, Mike, but you don't even know it. Do you know that we have a relic hominid in North America called Bigfoot?
You talked about it before, and I remember when I was a kid, I used to read about Bigfoot all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, people equate Bigfoot with UFOs and the Illuminati and the Masons and
Oh yeah, the Masons had something to do with Bigfoot?
No, but I mean, there's so much bullshit in the water that people have a really hard time figuring out what is actually true and what is actually false. And
You think so? Because I've seen, they put fake news on TV and then like real news on TV and ask the kids which one is fake news and which one's real news, and the kids can tell right away which one's fake and which one's real.
Well, that tells you something about the indoctrination program that we're born into. Kids are pure human beings until they get to be about 10 or 11, and then they start getting the heebie-jeebies because society is so fucked up. So
Yeah, I agree. There's unless the fear is put into them, You know, like unless the fear is put into them, they don't really have that. You know, they're like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? You know, everything is magic, and they want to explore everything and know what it is, and then the fear gets fucking programmed into them. You know.
Well, you know, I'm 60 years old, and I still kind of have the heart of a child because that's the way I've remained free my whole life. It's like I watched my sisters and brothers of my immediate primary family turn into robots and hypnotize sheep and, you know, trudging off, you know, sending their kids off to wars. And I wrote songs and I smoked dope and I grow weed. And I consider myself to be at least a budding intellectual, you know. And I had a big belief in Jesus, just like Dwayne did. But you know what? That fucking book's been edited 600 fucking times. And even the oldest copy was 50 years old, 50 years after Jesus died. So who are you going to believe? It's not the word of God. It's the word of a bunch of people that were politically active in their time, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, you can burn all the holy books, turn all the holy pictures to the wall, and let's just become real human beings and really knowledgeable and brave. And you got to become the hero. You got to become the Christ. You got to
Jesus would agree with you. Jesus would agree with you. Fuck all the religions. Jesus would say that in a heartbeat. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Fuck all the religions.
Yeah, I'm sure that he would.
Yeah.
You know, even the Dalai Lama came out last year and said the time for religion is over. You know, we don't need religions anymore. But what do you got? I mean, how is a born-again Christian? I don't know if you've seen that video of all those preachers putting their hand on Trump and praying on him, and you've seen his blonde-haired Looney Tunes spiritual advisor, I'm sure, the chick, you know. It's like, oh my God, this is like worse than, you know, the Osbournes, you know, or a reality show. And it actually is reality. Your president is sitting there in his desk as if he's the chosen one. He even announced himself as the fucking chosen one. What a Looney Tunes world we're living in, where, you know, some fake words that weren't even written by the original guy are, you know, I've seen people hold up the Bhagavad Gita and say, all the wisdom in the world is contained within this book. And then I've seen Christians do the same thing with the Bible, saying, this is the word of God. Well, prove it. Prove it. Become the Christ yourself instead of making some external savior your hero. Jesus said there are no external saviors. You have to do it yourself.
There you go. So,
I'm sorry. I love Jesus. I love all the angels. I love Mary Magdalene, but Mary Magdalene ain't going to come down from the sky surrounded by clouds and angels and UFOs, and they're not going to save us. We got to do it ourselves. I apologize to all the religious people for being the fucking heretic that I am. I really, just to be polite, I'll apologize, but it's the truth. What can you say?
You know, again, the truth. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's all that matters. You know, and the problem is that we're just surrounded by bullshit. You know, by the people that we're looking to and have to trust to give us the truth. They just spoon feed us bullshit and call it yummy vanilla pudding or something. You know,
right? Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, we're living in the time on Earth, and I hope everybody listening can relate. We're living in a time right now on Earth where the biggest instrument of freedom, the internet, is consecutively also one of the biggest instruments of mass hypnosis and you know, propaganda. The guy yesterday was talking about Bernays, the intelligent guy from Canada, you know, and that's good. Bernays had it down, you know. So if the internet right now and all the bullshit stories and the fake news is the biggest propaganda machine ever to hypnotize the human race, well, they had something before the internet and TV ever came along, and that was called religion. And just think of all the millions of people killed because their savior and their saint is better than the other guy's savior and the other guy's saint. And if we didn't have religion, maybe we would have learned how to be human beings by now and eliminated the wars, you know.
Which is the strangest thing, you know, because it seems like if you really had this omnipotent being that you were just 100%, you know, I believe 100%. It's not possible for me to believe more in this deity. You know, the last thing you worry about is getting into some, you know, my God's dick is bigger than your God's dick bullshit ever. You know, I mean, it's like, because I know I don't have to explain a fucking thing to you. Okay, I know the truth. Again, the truth. It's all that matters. And for whatever reason, there's this never-ending conflict about this, about, you know, which God is the real God. Fuck God. You're not capable of conceiving fucking God. Stop acting like you can. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so just that thing that you conceive of God is so tiny and infant, you know, just so fucking worthless and meaningless compared to what God is, if there is a true creator God. So stop acting like, you know the truth about God, okay? Because it isn't. It makes God small. It's like the same way as when I'm talking about putting labels on yourself. You fucking idiots want to put labels on God. Oh, holy shit! What the hell? Okay?
Yeah.
It's just, it's how petty and small is that? Okay?
It's killing in the name of, you know, killing in the name of God, killing in the name of government. You know, there's so much stupidity that comes out of believing in all-powerful authority, all-powerful, omniscient God. I'm not even saying there's no such thing as spirits or angels. I'm not saying you're that when you really pray, you're wasting your prayers. I'm just saying the human race has been killing in the name of, and I'm sure you know the reference, for such a long time that it's time we wake up from this really bad dream and we try to become, you know, like the Son of Man. You know, there is no external savior. You have to do it yourself. We have to do it as a group, ourselves. We're the ones who's going to save the planet, stop the pollution, bring the orcas back, stop killing gay people, stop ISIS, try to free the Palestinians, get all the fucking lobbyists out of Washington, D.C. Jesus ain't going to get the lobbyists out of Washington, D.C. All the sham preachers on TV that is taking your grandma's money, you know, and securing for her a place in heaven, those guys are fucking snake oil salesmen, you know. Almost everybody you see is a snake oil salesman. You better learn when people are trying to sell you something and when they're not.
This is what I keep saying. This is the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, is that they're both snake oil salesmen. They're just selling it to different suckers. I keep explaining that again and again. You know, and you're a sucker because you buy their fucking snake oil.
Did you see Tulsi beat up Joy Behar today?
I posted it 10 minutes after she did it.
Oh, did you? Okay, I thought that's probably where I saw it, was on your channel, yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry to criticize Jewish people, but talk about a Jewish woman's big mouth. It's like she wanted to shut Tulsi down, and Tulsi was so polite.
She really was. She was really respectful, as you could expect anybody to be.
Yeah, and look who ended up being her 5-minute buddy. It was John McCain's daughter, you know. Kind of stepped in.
She's looking for cover, dude. She laughed. You know, the first time Tulsi was on that show, she was just like a total dickhead to her, and she got beat the fuck up by the veterans.
Yeah, I might have missed that, but that, I'm sure they were mentioning Syria. Well, you went to see Assad,
yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, isn't it a shame that a bunch of old women, sorry to insult their age and stuff, that talk like they're experts on politics, but they don't give a fuck about Yemen, they don't give a fuck about Palestine, they don't give a fuck about their country. They just want to get their $600 check for every show they do, or $6,000 a piece. I don't know how much money they make.
$600,000 an episode.
Yeah, well, split 4 or 5 ways, So
Per episode,
it's like
5 days a week. Figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, why would I wouldn't listen to those people in real life. Why would I listen to them on the fucking YouTube? It's like
It comes back to this thing that I talk about. When I post those segments, there's a reason that I do it, because they're showing their true colors, and you see, and it's easier to see with them because they're bigger cartoon characters than the news people. So you see it in them a little bit, and you go, "Whoa, what is happening here?" And then you start to see it in the news people, and because your eyes have been opened just a tiny bit. It's baby steps with trying to figure out get a lot of people's eyes open.
Yeah, well, Tulsi, I think she was wearing blue today, if I remember correctly, and she's like the Blue Angel. She's got this beautiful open face. She's wise. She's centered. She knows who she is, and she don't really take no shit. And
she's polite about not taking shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, God damn, I wish I could develop those skills she's got to. I got it as far as being who I am and being present when I'm in front of people, but I think I rip people's assholes open a lot more than she does. I'm more of a barbarian than Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, sometimes when you're trying to make a point, and it's a difficult point to make, it's kind of like, you kind of gotta open the baby's mouth and then shove the food down in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and with all my circle of friends, we call the Joy Behars of the world, we call them tribalists, because that's what they are. The Jews are the most powerful tribe on planet Earth, and it's undeniable. I hate to say it, but it's undeniable. It's historical. It's genetic. Believe it or not, there was at least 2, maybe 3 genetic studies coming out of Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel, by Jewish geneticists, which said Ashkenazi are up to 40%, between 20 and 40% more genetically likely to develop schizotypal disorder. So it's a tribal thing. It's a hypnotism thing where they're hypnotized by their culture. They're, but like I told you yesterday.
But everyone is.
Everyone is, but it's a little bit stronger in the Jewish population. This is why, I have lots of Jewish friends. Ariel Gold, Gilad Atzmon, lots and lots of Jewish friends. And these are the...
I don't even know, I don't even know people. I don't even know people's religion. It's like, I don't know. I do my best to avoid it. I don't want to attach labels, so I'm like, I don't want to know your religion. I don't want to know these things, because it's just like one fucking badge after another that I got to attach to. And I know it's meaningful to you, but I couldn't fucking care less. Go ahead.
Well, what you have here is a beautiful segment of the Jewish population that is actually fighting Israel. And, this is like a beautiful, enlightened, intelligent minority of the Jewish population that are standing up for human rights. They are standing up for Palestinian rights. They are calling bullshit when bullshit needs to be called. They're calling genocide. And some of them are even recognizing, like Gilad Atzmon, a personal friend of mine, he's recognizing that there is a psychological pattern, sociological pattern among Jews, and especially Jewish identity politics. And so we have all of the Hasbra and the ADL and the JDL shutting down people's, they're such a big, powerful group of people. They're shutting down people's channels. My Chris Berlin show got shut down here in Ojai, California, because the people that own the venue were Zionists. And I just, I signed a contract with them. I explained everything to them. So I personally witnessed the JDL and the ADL myself. Adam Green he's attacked every single day. There's lots of people all over the planet that are trying to just bring out things like 9/11 or Jewish or the AIPAC lobby. or the Palestinian issue, or the infiltration of the media in Hollywood, and people say, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." But hey, it's not. It's not some imaginary theory. It's a real, verifiable, planet-wide phenomenon, you know. And so, I've personally been called an anti-Semite, but how can I be an anti-Semite if I got 50 Jewish friends? I'm recognizing a
Speaking
pattern.
out, there's nothing anti-Semitic about speaking out against Israel. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't mean that just because, I mean, you could be anti-Semitic and speak out against Israel, but because you're speaking out against, evil, doesn't mean that you're anti-Semitic, So, I'm talking about Israel. Okay, Israel commits evil on a daily basis, and I've been called anti-Semitic again and again and again. But you have to care. Again, the underdog, the little guy, you have to stand up and you have to care. These people are just being bulldozed into the fucking ocean, by fucking specially made bulletproof and grenade-proof bulldozers made especially for Israelis by Caterpillar. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's slow genocide. And I remember in 2014 during that 51-day war, and me and my friends, we had the only live stream coming out of Gaza, and then a week later Al Jazeera arrived. So we were on top of it, and what a butcherous, and what a butcherous war that was. And we stayed up. Every activist on earth stayed up 22 hours a day online because we can't make it to Palestine, but we can get the information out, And so we were getting videos on the ground of the double tap. I'm sure you know what a double tap is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of the ambulance crew getting double tapped by the Israeli military and people.
Yeah, that's when they sent all the women and children to the UN shelter and then bombed the UN shelter, right?
And they called the IDF at least a dozen times and said, "Hey, we got women and children here," but they bombed anyway.
And they dropped flyers and told the women and children to go to this UN shelter where they would be safe.
And you saw the video of the United Nations UNRWA Relief Workers Association of that guy crying on video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You should repost that if you can find it, because that's a heartbreaking thing when he's pleading with the world because kids are getting bombed and blown up. And, I did stay up for 51 days, and I was online 22 hours a day, and the only thing I take is aspirin and coffee, but the severity of the casualty count and the things that my eyes were seeing was so heart-changing, just life-impacting video and audio that I didn't need speed to stay up for 22 hours a day. I was empowered by what I knew was happening 10,000 miles away. And you haven't seen anything like that out of Israel since 2014 because of the worldwide outcry of what happened during that 51-day war. Max Blumenthal put out a bunch of great exposés on that. And if you don't know about that, that was a genocide live on TV. And the Israelis would set up their couches and their fold-out chairs on hillsides and applaud every time a bomb, and they'd watch Gaza and they'd applaud every time a bomb went off. And then they would knock on the house, which would mean they would set up a really, really low-powered bomb on the roof of the house, telling the people to, you got 5 minutes to get out of this house because we're going to blow this fucking house up. And, it's the densest population center on Earth.
They do it to apartment buildings, not just houses, apartment buildings.
They blew up the hotel where the foreign media was, they killed foreign media.
Yeah.
They killed Al Jazeera people.
Yeah.
Harry Fear was with the BBC, or maybe he was with Al Jazeera, I can't remember, but he was in that building, and they bombed the building. So it's, all the rules are out the window when Israel wants to pretend that they're being attacked. People don't even know that the rockets that the people in Gaza make, they're made out of fertilizer. They have no guidance system, and they have no explosives. I've seen a rocket hit a taxi cab, land in the back seat, and it doesn't explode. I've seen a rocket hit a tree and scare the cat out of the tree. I've seen a rocket hit a street, and it puts a dent in the street. These are not explosive rockets. They're firecrackers.
Yeah, I call them bottle rockets.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just large bottle rockets. And there are no real heavy weapons. They have no army. They have no navy. They have no tanks. They have no planes. They have no electricity. They have no water. Food. Certain foods aren't allowed in, like chocolate. Right? What's wrong with chocolate? Why can't you give?
It makes me fat.
Yeah, we don't. And they put the population of Gaza on a diet where they figured out the caloric intake of every person in Gaza, and they gave them that minimum caloric intake. You can't bring cement in there. 30% of all.
Yeah, what the hell is that, man? You can't bring cement because what? You gonna make bombs out of cement or something? Give me a fucking break.
You're gonna fix your houses that we blow up.
Yeah.
We want to make Gaza a resort for Jews only. So we haven't quite figured out what.
Very, very nice beachfront property for you people who don't know.
Oh fuck yeah!
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean it could be like a Mediterranean resort.
Yeah.
I mean but the fishermen can't go out past like 3 miles, otherwise they get shot.
Yeah, try and sail your sailboat in there.
Well, people have tried. You know that.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah. So it's a mess, and we just want to sit here in the United States, and we're trying to, like you say, we're trying to pay our rent, we're trying to pay our bills, we're trying to pay our taxes, we're trying to survive, we're trying to stay employed or get employed, we're trying to get weed legalized, we're trying to get all the rats out of Washington D.C., and it's like, and we're trying to get the real news on our TVs and computers, but they don't even want to allow us that. They don't even want us to see what's happening. And so I guess that's why I fell in love with live streaming. It's because with the live stream, there's no, you're not getting a bad story. You're getting the truth on the ground, where it's happening. And unfortunately, it's really ugly. I've seen so much bloodshed and chopped up bodies, and in both Cairo and Gaza especially, but in Syria also. I mean,
yeah,
it's like,
man, it's Iraq, fucking Afghanistan. I mean, and it's the women and children who have it the worst, always.
Always.
They're always the most victimized of the fucking, because they're the weakest. The weakest are the first ones to fall. It's horrible, and the only reason it happens is for fucking profit, and that's what makes it most disgusting.
Yeah, well, they still really haven't invented a smart bomb. I don't even know why they call them smart bombs. If 90% of your casualties are innocent women,
the same reason they say with laser precision.
Yeah,
laser guided.
They must be trying to kill all those women and children if they got laser precision.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? You were saying something about this family that died down in Mexico yesterday, and there's something really weird about that. No, there's something really weird about that, right?
Yeah, it's not a pretty picture, that's for sure.
I mean, no, it's a horrible, horrific, fucking ugly story, but there's something beyond that seems very strange about it, doesn't it? I mean, you sounded like you knew a little bit more about it than.
Well, it was probably somebody else. You're mixing me up with somebody else. All I know is they're Mormons, and Mormons do have some kind of connection with Mexico historically, going back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
And then I heard this little tidbit that I don't know if it's true or not, that the Mormon family that was killed had some connection to that Nexium cult, but I can't confirm that. So I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate. Trump is, of course, using it to talk about in his speeches, and it's a bad deal, man. I used to go down to Baja all the time.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you could drive 20 miles or 10 miles from the San Diego border to reach Tijuana to get your motorcycle seat reupholstered or something.
Yeah,
like
I always used to fantasize about riding down there on a motorcycle to Baja. It always seemed like that would be freaking awesome, dude.
But for the last 10 years or more, Tijuana grew to such a large extent. It's right on the other side of the border now, and it's like the cork in the bottle of South American refugees. They all get stopped in Tijuana, and they end up camping out there, and there's prostitution and drugs and cartels, and it's a bad scene. I love Baja. It's beautiful. Of course, they don't know how to throw their trash away, but it's a beautiful piece of land, and but I wouldn't go down there now. I used to go down there
No.
and hang it,
Yeah.
And
No, it seemed really strange to me when I first heard this story about the kids, the family that got shot up. But it seems strange now. There's something really odd about that. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why people would, go there on vacation, knowing the danger that exists there, which is 100% because of our drug war, by the way.
100% what?
100% because of our drug war.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I still remember Ross Perot saying, "You're going to hear a giant sucking sound if you pass the NAFTA," and it's like, he was right, But, Mexico is populated by beautiful people. I speak Spanish, and I love Mexican people, and they have a lot of grit, and it's a really macho kind of culture, but they're really giving. They're not like Americans. They actually have much tighter families in Mexico than they do in America. And I'm in favor of not letting everybody over the border, but
I just want to know. I just want to make sure that we know who's coming across the border. That's all I care about.
It's like,
That's all I care about. And I've been saying this since 2001. And the reason that I say it like that is because the border's been wide open since 2001, and all we heard about after September 11th was the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists. They're everywhere. They're coming for you. They're coming for your children, and they just left the border wide fucking open so they could walk right in. So I think that there's some bullshit story going on about the terrorists because otherwise.
Yeah, the MS-13 is a real phenomenon. I've been in Southern California.
Yeah, well, the gangs, that just comes back to the fucking drug war, though. Those gangs would be nothing, meaningless garbage that nobody would fear if it wasn't for the fact that we just funnel fucking giant pallets full of $100 bills right into their fucking pockets.
Well, if you improve the economy of a country, you're also improving, the quality of life for people, and they're not going to have any interest in joining a gang. If they can go to school and get a decent job, who would choose a gang over that?
Well, I hear a lot of people don't have a choice in the South America, some of the South American countries, because they're just it's like territory. You're part of us or you're against us. If you're against us, you're gonna die.
Mike, if they could, they would do the same thing to us. If they could.
Yeah.
But they're squishing the population of the United States of America. They've been doing it forever. They didn't want the unions to come around in the 10s and 20s. The post-war boom is over, people. It's not your daddy's country anymore. It's not your grandpa's country. It's a shit house, So don't join a gang. Be a good person. Fucking learn as much as you can and get ready, because somehow we're going to take our country back. I'm fighting for the young people who seem to have kind of given up, and I can hardly blame them. It's like, $700 to rent a room, and that's your entire paycheck. It's like, you don't have any. It's screwy now. You can't walk down the street without getting stopped and frisked by the cops. The cops will frame you if they can. Everywhere you look, you're breaking some law you didn't even know existed. Don't get me started on homeowners association. They'll come around and measure the length of your grass. Oh, your grass is 1 inch too high, you know.
My grass only got mowed once all summer long.
You do. No, man, it's like, you know, this is pre-fascism. We're in a pre-fascist society, and so Antifa, I'm sorry to say, is a bunch of nut job fucking fascists. You know, it's like,
anybody who's against free speech is not on the right side.
anybody who needs to join a gang is automatically against Jesus, because Jesus said, "Don't join a gang. Be
Fuck
your own
Jesus."
savior." No, fucking Jesus had it right, dude. It's just he said, "Don't follow me, follow yourself. You can do this too." But nobody remembers that. It's like, oh, Jesus said we have to worship the Bible, and it's like,
Did he say that? I don't remember Jesus saying that.
Well, you know what I mean.
Jesus said, "Come to me as little children, naked and pure." You know? So he was like, don't have this fucking guilt. Don't have this fucking, shame. Okay? Little children, when they're naked, they don't have the shame. You know, they're all, "Whee! Life is great!" You know?
That's a beautiful point, Michael. I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Jesus doesn't want anybody to be ashamed.
No.
He didn't believe in original sin. You don't come in this world with original sin. You did nothing wrong by being born.
Yeah.
You do nothing wrong by making yourself free. But there's so many words of Jesus that were lost. Like Jesus said, "Be wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove." You know, what does that mean? Wise as a serpent. That means you're going to have to grow the fuck up. You know, you don't get wise as a serpent without growing up. He also said weird ass things like, "I have not come to bring peace to the world. I've come with a sword to divide brother from brother and father from son." People don't know that Jesus said that. That's in the Gospel of Thomas.
Jesus was a fucking rebel, dude.
Yeah,
Jesus wasn't some, fucking conform and follow the rules. I don't think so.
Yeah, he was in a precarious political situation, so he had to be careful with his speech. They kept trying to trip him up, and he said, "Render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's." If he would have said anything different, the Pharisees would have busted him, gone to Pilate right away, busted him right then and there. But, it's like, he was like the Malcolm X of his day, but a little bit smarter, and he could, heal the sick and make the blind see and shit like that. I don't know about the walking on water bit, but, so, yeah.
I've made some people who are pretty close to being blind see, dude. So,
blind? Say that again?
I've helped some people who were pretty close to being completely blind see. Possibly for the first time.
Well, you know what they say, hindsight is 20/20 vision. So, but
all right, Michael.
Yeah,
what's going on in Southern California? You got any plans? You gonna watch South Park tonight?
I don't watch cartoons. It's against my religion, man.
Oh, South Park is beyond religion. It's prophecy, dude. All right. All right. Well, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad you called. I got another call. Let me try and pick it up.
Take it.
Bye.
Oops, your caller just hung up. Goodbye.
I hate that bitch. She is so rude. Call back. Got Michael off the phone so I could talk to you. That's how important your phone call was. Okay, so let's see. We got 78 minutes so far. That's not bad, right? See? Thank you.
I just wanted to take this call.
Pressing 1. Hello, caller.
Michael and Mike, how are you this evening, buddy?
Wayne!
Hey, you know what? That's really nice of you. Please call back. That was really important.
I was trying to. I don't want to ignore the people that are trying to get through. Because then it seems like they don't matter, which they do. I want everybody to call. It's just I don't want to kick anybody off in the middle of making a point or anything either. But Michael can talk forever and he'll call back when he wants. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'll call back every night and go on forever too.
Which is good. I mean, it's good he can talk.
But
It's good he can talk forever. I mean, without that, I wouldn't have got a couple piss breaks a couple times there.
He just sounded really depressed. You know what I mean? Like
I think that a lot of people are, feeling let down by,
maybe if he'd stop talking stupid shit about something he doesn't know about, like the Bible, he wouldn't be so depressed. That's my honest opinion, man, because Jesus only brings you up in spirit. It doesn't drag you down and make you sit down and sound sad. And by the way,
it didn't sound like Jesus made him feel sad or sound sad.
Nah, he's talking stuff he doesn't even know about.
Okay.
So, like, he's read 2 or 3 verses in the Bible and he's living his life that way. And it's like, man, you got to read the whole thing, okay? Now, when he said about what I was talking about with Muhammad the other night,
we're gonna have to get you. We're gonna have to get you on a live camera with Michael at the same time. You know that.
I
right?
would love to, man.
Okay.
I would absolutely love to. And there's probably about a half a dozen people in this chat room that I'd love to as well.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because that's coming up here shortly. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing stuff like that.
Really, seriously. Hey, I'm on Skype, man. I do that for sure.
Good. We're gonna figure out the Skype here this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And when he said about me telling Mohammed that he can work for me because he's a black man, it had nothing to do with his skin color, man. It had to do with, that I'm just an awesome guy and I'm better than him. It had nothing to do with his skin color, okay? But, like, look, white people are Muslim too, right? Aren't a whole bunch of white brides going over to work for ISIS now anyway? So it has nothing to do with skin color.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of white Muslim people there, yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with skin color. It has to do with a stupid-ass religion that's dead wrong, in my opinion. And no, you probably don't even know what I know about my religion because, I don't know, it's kind of weird for me to listen to 2 atheists talk back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about me?
Yeah, you and Mike.
I never said I was an atheist. I don't like those
labels.
labels.
Just like, you gotta be really careful. Like, what Jesus are you talking about? All right, the Catholic Church Jesus, where it's a white guy with a halo over his head and that stupid picture of, what's his name, Sergio Borgia or whatever. That's not the Jesus of the Bible, okay? Mm-hmm. Jesus was not a white man, and I'm a white man.
But he was a rebel.
He absolutely was, and he just didn't tell people to just go about living your life and be happy, and you're supposed to go to him like as a child, but that's so you learn his teachings, okay? That's the whole point of that Bible verse that you were talking about just a minute ago.
And it's about not having shame and guilt, Wayne.
Well, that's true, and you can't. But how do you get shame and guilt? All right, a man laying with a man is an abomination. Period. So that brings shame and guilt and diseases because the Bible talks about how the diseases are in the land already. So if you do something that's against God, okay, you're going to get a disease. Now look, AIDS doesn't get spread by straight men. It gets spread by homosexuals.
I think it does. No, I think it does.
Well, if they're doing needles, I guess, yeah. If they're injecting heroin and crack,
I think straight people get AIDS also that don't have to do needles, and I don't think you can get AIDS from
How
crack.
How is that possible? Because I've never done a monkey. You know what I mean?
Because there's other people that may do crazy shit that you're attracted to. Some hot girl who's a nympho that you don't know about, but because she looks like she's all demure. But she's actually a crazy nympho, and she can't wait to have you and every other guy in the bathroom. So, and naturally you go, hey, my turn to go in the bathroom with her, yay! Not that you know that it's your turn, just that you're going, yay, I got this super hot chick that wants to take me in the bathroom, fucking hey!
You beat me to it. I was just about to say, don't do a chick that's been gangbanged by 50 guys.
Yeah, you don't know it. That's what I'm saying. You don't know this, and that's all I'm saying is that it's not just it's like this stereotype shit, dude. It just doesn't work anymore.
But AIDS wasn't a problem until Freddie Mercury. AIDS wasn't a problem until the 80s. Okay, it probably was
right, but they say that
weapon.
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, you know how the pharmaceutical companies are.
Yeah, of course, and it probably was a biological weapon released on people, but it spread through through the gay community. There's no doubt about that. Now,
I think it was targeted to spread through the gay community too, though. I mean, by the people who designed it.
Well, the normal people want to get rid of them. Maybe, I guess.
You know.
I don't know. Homosexuals are going to go extinct anyways. That's why I know it's cultural and not genetic, okay? It can't be genetic. It has to be cultural. Because if it was genetic, homosexuals would have wiped each other out thousands of years ago.
It's not. Look, it's a matter of us. It's this thing where I keep talking about us being the tippy top of the food chain. Okay, it's like you like chocolate, or you like strawberries, or you like this, or you like that. Okay, and the reason that you are able to know that you like that is because you're able to make those decisions. You're like, oh, this looks safe to eat. I'm going to eat this. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, so being top of the food chain means you can make whatever decision you want to make on this planet. Okay?
Yeah, most men, like homosexual men make the wrong decision, and I think it's maybe because they're kind of introverts or something, and they're scared of girls. Because if you look at homosexual men, they all sound like fairies. Okay, so they all sound like kind of girly guys, and it's just kind of weird. I always knew since I was like a kid, when I was 5 years old, I knew, hey, wait a minute, these lispy kind of stop being that way with me kind of people were. It's because women don't want weak men. Women want strong men that are going to lead them. And that's the order that
women
it's set
want,
up in the Bible. It's set up in real life.
Women want fucking money. At least Western women.
Well, whatever. I'm not rich. I want to put my wife on the call. I really do. I'd really, really like to. She's in the kitchen right now reading. I'm going to see if I can go grab her and say, hey, you know what? This is your chance. Talk to Mom. Because women want strong men. And if I put her on the phone, ask her about like stuff like Tulsi and Trump. What do you think about her and him? And, like, women want strong men that are going to lead them, give them children, raise a family with them. It was, and even the whole feminist movement was, somebody created that. It was probably CIA or something that did that as well, because everything's fallen apart since the 50s, and I'm not saying women can't work. What I'm saying is they got the women to work to destroy the family, and that's what happened in the black community. Look, I go to a church that's 80% black, okay?
Uh-huh.
I do.
I'm not arguing with you, dude. I'm not arguing with you.
And it seems like the whole black community has been, and obviously our pastor talks about this all the time. It's been completely destroyed from within because the black women are out of control, and the black men have nothing to shoot for. You know what I mean? Like they don't have.
No, I have no idea what you're saying at all.
Oh well, I go to a black church.
Right, I get that part. I get that part.
Yeah, so that's where you get these ideas. Like. Oh, well, what's his face? Sharpton, and all these...
What do you mean black women are out of control?
Because they've been told to just... I don't know. Like, the men are too scared to take... I don't know. Control. Charge. You know what I mean? Because women want to be led. And...
people in general kind of seem that way.
Yeah, it's probably the same... it's even the same way in our white community. It totally is. Like, women are running the show, and like there's good strong women, yes, but you know what I mean, like just being a mouthy bitch is going to turn a whole bunch of guys off, and not like men going their own way. Have you heard of MGTOW? That movement's huge because who wants to be saddled up with a mouthy woman? But then you become a faggot, and it's just so frustrating because we should go back about 60 years. Back to the time of Ralph Cramden in the honeymooners. This is why I keep bringing this up with you. You need to go back to that time, and even then it was kind of, Alice is kind of a mouthy little housewife, you know what I mean? And
she was awesome.
For the moon, and
yeah,
like all that stuff.
Awesome.
I just think that's where a lot of this trouble started, and it seemed to start right around that time. You know what I mean? And
I hear what you're saying. I mean, there's just this, it seems like being a heterosexual male is somehow a negative in today's world. Like we're the only people that it's okay to discriminate against anymore or something, you know, and
Yep.
so
I'm not playing victim. I'll stand up to
and it's
everyone
like
that says you're.
and in
Yeah.
response to that, heterosexual males are now not like they're not so handsy, they're not so they're not so in charge of what's happening, and so and you're saying that the women and that's turning the women off, right?
Oh well, yeah, and then the guys that are kind of weaker guys, like kind of like a beta male, is too scared to go to women. The only way they can get affection is to go to other little beta males. It just seems that way because look, anyone I know who's a homosexual was always rejected by women when they were younger. It's not because they grew up thinking I want to suck a penis. No 13-year-old boy wants to suck a penis. There's no, that's not fucking normal, man. Like, it's just not normal. You want to look at, oh, wow, that girl's got boobies, and wow, this is the first time I've seen something like that. That's what a boy, a 13-year-old boy, a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy wants to do. They're not thinking about, man, I wonder how big his junk is. Like, give me a break. Like,
I think everybody's different, Dwayne, and
look,
but I think look at Dwayne. Here's the deal. Here's what I genuinely really think is I think that there's a lot of programming going on from outside influences, okay, and that people are pushed directions by like what you're saying, experiences, negative experiences,
yeah.
and then like a lot of outside programming, okay, where it's like this. And in a thousand different ways they're programmed, and sexuality is definitely one of the ones that they've been working on a long time. They being the powers that be, the programmers, the media, other things like that.
Who's weaker though? Who's weaker? Because I was 8 years old. I loved Michael Jackson. I was 8 years old. I had a sticker album of Michael Jackson. It didn't make me want to go rub a wang. And pull someone off. Like,
I'm not saying anything. Look, sexuality is fucking complicated, dude. Okay, and whatever. I mean, South Park again to bring up the brilliance that is the prophets Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Okay, they made an episode of South Park where the boys are jacking off the dogs. And they're doing it. They call it milking the dog. They're saying, "Hey mom, check this out. I'm milking the dog. I'm milking the dog." and it's something that, and I'm not saying that that's something that anybody needs to go and do or whatever. What I'm saying is that they know that that's something that happens. That's an experience, okay? And you can't just act like it's just black and white. Okay, it's so not black and white that there's all kinds of experiences that happen like that throughout your entire life, and it's not, I'm not saying you, Dwayne, but I'm just saying...
Rejected. I got rejected by pretty girls too. No, I'm not going to dance with you. No, I'm not going to go out with you. That happened to me. That didn't make me want to go hang out behind the couch with cousin Joe. Like,
no, again, it's not.
It's like, all right, I'm going to try harder.
But I don't think that that's naturally what necessarily where all people are inclined to start with is to be, checking out girls. And especially if you're not inclined to be checking out girls in the first place, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go check out this girl and see if I can get something going on with her. And then she's like, ooh, gross, go away. And you go, well, fuck that. I wasn't really interested in the first place. I don't know why I even bothered. And
I think it's the music industry, man.
Again, there's programming.
Yeah. And I think it's the music industry because I like Michael Jackson when I was 8 years old. It turned me into a flamer. And, like, I can listen to that kind of stuff and not be, I don't know, I can't even imagine what music today is now. Like, I don't even listen to it. I just listen to stuff from the 80s and the 90s, I love Pearl Jam. And
what about
Nirvana,
Rush?
even though I think Nirvana is really dark now, now that I got into Jesus.
What about Rush?
Soundgarden, too. Like,
What about Rush?
I can see why Kurt Cobain killed himself.
What
This is
about
fucking-
Rush?
I like Rush, man. Oh, geez, what's that one song? Freedom of, the radio, Spirit of the Radio.
They're a
And,
national treasure in your country, man.
They are, you know, I'm more into Tragically Hip personally, and he's pretty much a legend. He died 4 years ago.
I saw Rush once in
Oh,
Fresno.
yeah?
In Fresno. It was the worst concert I ever saw. But I went with the girl, and I was trying to pay attention to the girl, and it was just like, this is fucked. I couldn't get into the concert at all, and it was like, I hate this. And I never really...
See, that's opposite to me. He's like, I went to see the Tragically Hip when I was a big pothead and smoking weed all the time. You know, with my aunt, who's a cop,
Uh-huh.
a cop, smoking dope at the
Mountie?
weed at the Tragically Hip concert, was just like, wow, man, this song was so
Mountie?
awesome. What's that?
A Mountie?
No, Ontario Provincial Police, like state police.
Huh. Okay.
I got 2 family members, man. I got 2 family members in the Ontario Provincial Police, and they're actually good cops, okay?
They smoke weed, I guess. They're good cops, yeah.
You think she beat me over the head and stole my weed and said you're going to jail? No, all right. Some cops, I know, you know, on this channel, kind of like Blue ISIS, I get that. But like Blue lives do matter too. I've got some decent family members that are decent police officers. Okay,
look,
there really are good cops out there that
aren't
fucked up.
I think cops are also part of the victim. Okay, I think cops are being told to do this and programmed to do this a certain way, and then when they do what they're supposed to do, people go, "What the fuck?" But you know, that's different from a guy who shoots a girl in her living room playing video games with her fucking 8-year-old nephew. You know what I'm saying?
My cousin Danny, all right, this guy's built like a tank, man, and he's a cop, and you're not going to speak, you know, you're not going to mouth off to this guy. He's huge. He used to be, you know, in the world
don't tell me what
championship
to do.
wrestling.
Don't tell me what I'm not going to do or not do, Dwayne.
He's not going to do something like that, man.
Someone says that to me, and that's the very first thing I'm going to do is mouth off to them. So you know.
You know what my cousin does? He finds dead little girls that have been left in bushes.
No, that's horrible. I wouldn't see, and that's what I talk about. They have this job where they have to deal with the worst of the worst people. So instead of all of us dealing with the worst of the worst people by like lifting the dregs of society up so that we have a better society for everyone, ending the drug war and all this bullshit police state where we have to be over-intrusive into everybody's life to know what's in their goddamn pockets. You know, I grew up with cops. Okay, I mean, they were around, and they were, I mean, like immediately around, and they all had substance abuse problems. Number one, and they all had fucked up families. Number two, and it's not that they were bad guys. It's just that they, you know, they had this, like, I don't know, and maybe it was because I was a guy and there was other guys around. There was always like this, you know, I guess you'd call it toxic masculinity these days. But it was always like this, you know, this one-upper thing, you know, and I can remember them trying to, like, kind of push me around and not being able to. You know, you're talking about a fucking 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, right? You know, with cops trying to fuck with them. And that's why when you say, yeah, you're not going to mouth off to that guy, you don't know me very well. Because, you know, if I do, it's just probably to try and make him smile. But, you know, they're probably going to do that.
Like my German grandfather, you know, he ended up with his daughter-in-law and his grandson, you know, becoming provincial police here in Ontario. And he tried me. You know, I was too much of a rebel. I wasn't going to follow the rules back then, you know. And I look fucking better than them in a buzz cut. You know what I mean? Like, I look more like a German Sieg Heil kind of guy than they do. And, you know, he told me I should become a cop. And I wouldn't go for it because I was too busy smoking weed. And now I bust my ass. I don't have a good, you know, I got a good paying job. But not like them, man. They got fucking unions and union corruption and everything. But, look, you know, some police are actually good people. There's no fucking way that...
As individuals, they're good
Yes.
people. Okay, when they're
And you know
together
what?
with
They're
their
gonna
fucking
bend the
uniforms
rules.
on, they're just another gang. They're the biggest bully on the block, and they're gonna do their best to make sure you know it. It's like you're saying, nobody talks back to that guy. That's because he makes sure they know who the biggest bully on the block is. And I don't think that's what a police officer job should be.
I smoked a joint the size of the biggest fucking joint you've ever smoked next to a cop at a hip concert, man, and it was just awesome.
If you know what, if you're a cop and you can't let your guard down at a concert, you are never going to be able to enjoy anything in your life.
Well, she didn't go as a cop. She went as a...
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and, she wasn't going to do anything unless somebody pulled out a gun or something.
Yeah.
Then she would do something. But, and she didn't even have to. Like, there really are good police out there.
I'm not saying that there's not.
And I see it because didn't you upload that video of that Florida cop slamming that 15-year-old girl to the ground earlier today?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Like I said in the comment section earlier, we got to give you more credit than we do because even the last guy said, oh, I saw a video, and you're like, I uploaded that. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay, I've done the same thing, and I got to give you more credit than I do because a lot of these videos I'm seeing from you, and I'm just thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's Fox News or CNN because you're uploading your clips or something. But I don't know.
That's why I'm...
My cousin Danny's... Look, my cousin Danny's 4 times the size of that cop that slammed that little girl to the ground. Yeah. You know what he's out doing? He's out looking through bushes for victims of murder.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Well, it wasn't just a little girl in high school. It was a special needs girl at alternative school. So, this thing where the cops walk around, and that's what I'm talking about, is they walk around and they are the biggest bully on the block, and they make sure everybody knows it, and if you act out like you don't know it, they're going to prove it to you immediately.
If you're not a shit disturber, I know this is weird to say, but you have nothing to hide, blah, 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 all that stuff, okay? If you're not a troublemaker, Mike, you don't get in trouble. I got pulled over for speeding 2 weeks ago. Okay? I haven't had a speeding ticket in 10 years. You know why? Because I don't want my insurance to go up so I can pay some insurance company more money. So I drive the fucking speed limit.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know when the cops get you speeding? Is when there's nobody on the road and it's the middle of the day. Okay? So it's the middle of the day, there's nobody on the road. I'm doing, in Canada, it's kilometers per hour. So I'm doing 107 and an 80. All right? He pulls me over. I looked at him and I said, oh, come on, man. I haven't had a speeding ticket in 10 years. You know what? He said, here's your warning. Go on. So, now, if I was a Huda Man kind of guy wearing fucking pants down to my ankles and stuff like that and talking shit to the guy, he's going to start trouble with me, man. So if you're a good person in the first place, you're not going to have these kind of problems.
Yeah. Good person is subjective.
Okay, not breaking into houses, not shooting people.
Okay, well, I've had a lot of trouble with the cops in the past where I wasn't breaking into houses or shooting anybody. I was simply walking down the fucking beach with a joint in my hand.
See, I never got in trouble for smoking a joint. Now, maybe that's Canada's culture. I don't know. But I've never... Of all my friends that I used to have, that we smoked tons of weed together, tons and tons and tons. I don't know a single person I smoked marijuana with that was ever arrested for having marijuana. And, I got busted behind a church one time, sitting around it. The guy that gave me the pot looked just like you. And we're just sitting there singing songs. It was awesome, man. And
that's
we're
what I'm
behind
talking about. So why would you get busted just hanging out singing songs, right?
At 2:30 in the morning, and you know what? The cops pulled up, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
He didn't care. Now maybe that's Canada. I don't know. But,
I think that it depends on where you're at. If you're in a kind of a rural neighborhood or whatever, I have literally had cops in this neighborhood that I lived here for the last fucking 17, 18 years. I've had them pull me over walking home from the grocery store with bags of groceries in my hand. and say you fit the description of someone we're looking for. So I don't want to hear it only happens to black people. You know, I get that shit in my own neighborhood, which is a nice neighborhood. It's fucking bullshit, dude.
You know what? I think honestly, I'm glad I was, okay, so the only, I guess, illegal shit I ever did as a Canadian citizen was smoking marijuana, buying off, a kid on the street and all this kind of stuff. But I never got caught or prosecuted or anything like that. So when when I crossed the border, I don't know, 3 months ago I went to Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I crossed the border. The first thing those Yankee border guards are mean, man. Those American border guards, they're nasty fuckers. I should have just said, taco burrito, and I should have been able to get across, no problem. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But the first question he asked me is, what's your criminal record in Canada? I said, nothing. He said, there's no way.
Fuck you.
That's what the border guard, that's the first question he asked. He didn't even ask me if I was Canadian or what your nationality is.
Yeah.
He said, what's your criminal history in Canada? I said, nothing. He said, no way. And then, I gave him my papers, please.
Yeah.
He checked me. I'm totally clean. You know what? He can sit there and look up and down my car, which he did for 20 minutes. You fucking search under my tires or something. What do I care? There's no dope in there. There's no guns in there.
Really, they search your car. Why would they do that to you, Dwayne? I mean, they don't do that to everybody.
You know what though? If you're not a troublemaker in the past, you don't have any problems anyways.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm a troublemaker.
I was.
I'm on so many fucking lists, Dwayne. You just have no idea. I mean, the Vatican has a fucking file on me like this fucking deep, dude. So you know.
Well, those people are weirdos, man. The Vatican. Oh, don't give me another Vatican. People in the comment section are talking about, when this whole religion stuff comes up with you in the last caller. And look, like the Vatican, that Jesus on the wall is not the Jesus of the Bible. And George Bush said he was doing it in the name of Jesus, killing 1 million Iraqis. That wasn't the Jesus of the Bible. He wouldn't have killed 1 million Iraqis. So most of these atheists and people that don't know a fucking word that Jesus actually said in the comment section, read. It's not that hard. Read it. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Mike, I would suggest you read the book of Revelation. Oh, Jesus ain't coming back. Jesus is coming back. And
I didn't say that. I keep saying you don't know that. Don't. Hey, Dwayne.
45
minutes. Dwayne.
Fine. Don't believe
Dwayne.
it. You know what? 45 minutes is a really nice story.
Dwayne. Every time he says Jesus ain't coming back, I say you don't know that. So
I do know that.
No.
I do know that.
No. You don't know that. He doesn't know that either. He doesn't know it, and you don't know it, and I don't know it. So I'm not going to sit here and act like one of you knows it, because he don't. Okay? So he doesn't know that Jesus is not coming back. You don't know that Jesus is coming back, and I don't give a fuck. Jesus can do what the hell Jesus wants to do. I could care less.
Even if it's a good spirit, like this whole idea of, oh, what is it? My dad's into this stuff, this worldly stuff. You mentioned the word in that call. I forget what it is. Humanism and secular humanism and all this stuff. Okay, like my dad's into all that stuff, eh? And you know what's really sad though? It's depressing when they think that way. All these people that are all secular humanists are all depressed people.
You have to think in what works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then you should find another way. I don't know. Look, I'm not a depressed person.
No, you're not. You're not. You're an exception to every fucking rule, just like I am, man.
I'm just a guy trying to do the right thing. That's all. And
that's why I am.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people really kind of aspire to be on the inside. And the ones who don't make it down that path just get off the path by 1,000 different influences, and it's a fucked up place that we're in where it's easy to get lost. So you have to give people a break, and you have to be understanding. Otherwise, you're not really being compassionate. And I think that's one of the things that Jesus would want you to be with most people.
Is it compassion to be compassionate for a homosexual who has lost his way? If I'm going to look at that as kind of like, all right, I'm going to be talking Jesus to everyone, and I walk up to someone, they're a homosexual. I'm like, listen, and the homosexual, look, like, you've lost your way, buddy. You know what the Bible actually calls homosexuals? Is they're reprobates. And none of the churches who are letting homosexuals into the churches will even quote those Bible verses.
Well,
And
you know why the Bible calls them that? It's like you're saying about that it's a fad or whatever, and it's going to pass because they're not going to breed or whatever, whatever you're saying. That's why the Bible says, being not breeding, not being a breeder is bad, because you have to breed so that you can indoctrinate your children into the church. Otherwise, the church is going to die. Right, Dwayne? Just exactly what you're saying.
Well, 90% of the church is going to the pit with all the atheists and all the people that hate God anyway. That's my opinion from what I have read.
Yeah. It's like me and Michael were saying, Jesus would be like, fuck your religions. Just get rid of that stuff.
Hey,
yeah.
Well, no. I don't know. It's more complicated than that, but you know what? I really enjoy having conversations with you. Uno momento, por favor. Okay? Just hang on for a second, okay?
All right.
All right.
One second.
One sec.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is entertaining. Thanks so much, Dwayne. We're glad we had this special moment where we could share.
All right. Hey, would the show like a special guest?
Anytime. We had Bill Clinton earlier. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that, and I heard Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders too. That's pretty awesome.
All right, you need a special guest. Ask whatever you want. A moment. Oh, she was sleeping. Sorry, 1 second. I wanted to add Jane to the show.
Okay. Well.
1 second.
Okay. I thought you said she was working in the kitchen.
Hello?
Hello, Jane.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
I did not mean to wake you up. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you didn't wake me up. No, I was fine. No, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. We had a beautiful sunny day today, and I got to take the dogs out. It's a little bit cold, but I mean it's like 40 degrees. It's not like real cold,
No, it's starting to get really cold around here. So what's the show about tonight?
We're about Tulsi Gabbard qualified for the November debate. Good news, huh?
Oh, that's good for her.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of her. I don't know if that was your clip or not. I saw her on The View today.
Yeah.
She really stuck it to that orange-headed witch there.
Yeah, they're all kind of witches, but yeah, she holds her own with anybody. She's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm really jaded when it comes to politics. I don't really go for any politics now. I don't believe in any of it, but
yeah, good.
I like what at least she sounds good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hear what you're saying. Politics has become so divisive, and people are so don't hear the other side, and it's just easier not to have it be any kind of part of the discussion. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm fascinated. It's not so much I'm fascinated by it as it seems to be this way. Like, I love what Tulsi says. I mean, I did you see her say that everyone needs to stand up for every American needs to stand up for 9/11 truth?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's something that I've been waiting to hear someone say for a long time. And honestly, I at this point in my life in American history, I thought the possibility of that happening was a goner. We had already moved beyond the possibility of somebody bringing up 9/11 again, and she did it right in the middle of a presidential debate. I love her.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder though, because with Trump last year when he came out, like After Bush and Obama and Clinton and all of them, really the only scam left to pull on the American people was to tell the truth.
Hmm.
'Cause- And that's what Trump was all about. I mean, and I like Trump. I mean, like for my circus, I'd rather watch the bread and circus they put in front of me and have a laugh as opposed to watching someone like Hillary Clinton is gonna get me, just utterly pissed off with the world, but how evil she is. So I like Trump for that reason. He's good entertainment.
Yeah, he's not
Um,
Hillary, absolutely, and he is somewhat entertaining. The guy that at his rallies, he keeps the people. He seems to keep the people very entertained.
yep. And I think the Democrats are smart, and I think they picked up on the reason why Trump got all that traction and all that support was because he was a truth teller. So Tulsi's really smart that way because I think she saw that, and she, you know, if a Democrat starts telling the truth, or at least some aspect of the truth, they're gonna get a lot of support, just because everyone lies, and people are sick of the lies.
It's such a unique thing. Like I'm saying, to see someone bring up 9/11 and talk about 9/11 truth. It's something that I've been waiting for almost 20 years now, and thought that we had moved beyond that. And then here's this person, you're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe, but I hate to say maybe there's hope. It's like you're saying, I'm pretty jaded on the politics too. After Mr. Hope and Change, I was like, I fucking hate hope, and I've had enough change for the rest of my life.
Yep. And the president of the United States, I don't think they really have any power. It's like they're just a spokesman. They're the face that they put up there that everybody can get behind.
Yeah.
The real power, is the people behind the scenes, the people you don't see. That whoever is spending the money and has the money, they're the ones that are actually calling the shots. And I think they put Trump in there on purpose because he is so divisive. And either you love him or you hate him, and you love him or you hate him to such a degree that you'll hate the people that love him if you hate him, right?
Yeah.
And he's a perfect tool for that. And you know, 4 more years of Trump, and people are gonna start killing each other.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I think you're onto something there. That he's so. I can't stand the guy. Never Trump, or yeah, yay Trump. Is black and white. So much so divisive, as you put it, that he is so divisive that it's a perfect thing for exactly what the mainstream media and the powers that be, as you're saying, the people who control the mainstream media, the people. It kind of just boils down somehow to the rich, the super rich people, because they're the ones with the money. They're the ones who can, walk into any prison and kill Jeffrey Epstein with the blink of an eye. The cameras being all down and everything. Um, so you're right though about the divisions about Donald Trump being installed, being put into the presidency for the sole purpose of dividing people even more than they already are. I think that's a pretty brilliant observation. So
Yeah, and the one other thing, I mean, in a way, your country already is in a civil war right now, and it's not gotten to the common folk yet, but your elites are in a civil war. It's like Democrats and Republicans, like these are just fronts for one elite group and another elite group. It's like Crips in the blood,
yeah,
just at a higher level,
yeah,
and you can see like this is the whole Russian uh, agent and all that. I mean, that's just a cold word for the other side, you know. And once I think they see the trouble that your country's headed for. Like once your deficit blows up, and whoever's on top when that goes down, they're going to be the power brokers to come. And I think that's kind of what's going on to your country. It makes me sad. There's so many
I
people
don't.
that don't see what's coming.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only person who's sad about those things, and I do think that there's a lot of people who do see that coming. I mean, I personally try and steer people away from a fear of, a crash of the economy or the dollar collapsing or whatever. Mainly because since 9/11, I remember right after 9/11, it was, the economy's going to collapse, the dollar's going to fold, and then it's kind of like ever since then, people keep bringing that up like that's going to happen tomorrow, and it's this which eventually, of course, there's going to be a problem, but it's this terrifying thing, and I don't like to encourage people to live in fear like that.
That's a good point. And I don't know. I don't want to put any time, effort, or energy into any of these politicians because in the end, you're just supporting these institutions that are out to screw you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that some of the politicians have good intentions, but in the end, I don't think they're big enough to overcome these institutions. You know, uh, but there's always hope, I guess.
Fucking hope. I hate hope so much.
Yeah, and I don't know the if, the way that I would rather just be hope and change in my own life is you just have to make a personal impact on the people around you. I don't know. I'm not gonna support any of these politicians or any of these elections. If you want to change the world, you got to help the people around you. And the best people to help are the ones that are vulnerable. You got to feed and clothe the poor, be a father to the fatherless, support the elderly, the people that are actually vulnerable and need help. And, that's all you can do in this life.
In other words, you have to give something back. Whatever it is, you have to give something back. Otherwise, you're just kind of a vampire.
Yep, because, these institutions are just sucking your energy and they're putting it nowhere. So that's probably just me being all cynical. I
Yeah, no, I
believe
think
in
that's a
the system for a
legitimate
while,
part of
and
the discussion. I think that's a really important part of the discussion, the cynical part where the corporations are, just going to suck the people dry until there's nothing left, and then it'll be like, who cares?
yep.
We
Well,
got
we're all just human chattel to them.
Yeah,
A way to make a buck.
that's all that seems to matter these days.
Yeah. But, I don't want to be too depressing.
No, it's fine.
But,
It's fine, Jane. Hey, I'm really glad you joined the conversation. We got another caller, so I'm going to try and see if we can get him. But
Okay.
tell Dwayne I said thanks a lot for calling, and it's nice that you became part of the conversation. I hope we hear back from you again.
all right.
All right.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good night.
You too. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hey, are you there, Marky?
I am here.
Cool.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Do you have your computer turned up? You have to turn down your computer.
Wait, what was that?
I was saying, do you have your computer turned up? You have to turn down your computer.
Yeah, turn it off. But I'm on the cell phone now. We good?
Yeah, we're good. Sound excellent.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say on the topic of the currency collapse thing. People have been talking about the currency collapse forever, like you said, since 9/11, 18 years, something like that. But I want to say people always say that it's about the petrodollar and it's about all these other reasons that we haven't hit that, right? Like American foreign policy. But I want to say that's not true because you can see all of these other countries throughout the world that have pursued inflationary monetary policies, and they haven't gotten hyperinflation or currency collapse either. So simply the idea that printing money creates price inflation has just been proven wrong. It's just not true anymore.
It seems like there's something to what you're saying. I agree. Because they printed a
Yeah,
fuckload. They printed a fuckload. There's definitely inflation, but it doesn't seem like it's as bad as much money as they printed for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The amount that they expanded, the Federal Reserve expanded the balance sheet after the financial crisis was like, I want to say 13 trillion, 20 trillion, something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was nowhere near that level of inflation.
Right.
So I think people need to reevaluate that, and that brings some interesting implications for what we could do with our fiscal and monetary policy in terms of rebuilding this country that doesn't require balanced budgets and could be, you know, if we printed 1/10 of that amount of money to rebuild our infrastructure and all the other things we need in this country, that could do a ton.
Right,
You know?
that makes so much sense. I mean, we print all the money we need to go to war, but we can't do the same thing to actually make things that will help every single person in the country. If we began right now a 21st or maybe even a 22nd century infrastructure project, we started right now, it would benefit every single American. There is just no doubt about it whatsoever, and they've done nothing but talk about it for the last, 30, 40 years, right?
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of conservative, more sort of conservative, not even necessarily ideologically, but kind of just in terms of personality and personal impulse, people, I think a lot of those people see that as like it must not be true because it's a magic trick or something. But I think it's a good opportunity to re-examine like the lies that we've all been told about what are the rules to the game, because it may seem fantastical, but like you said, right, it wasn't fantastical when it comes to every war that needs to be financed, all those other things. So I think people should reconsider it. And I wanted to say one more thing too about Tulsi Gabbard. I'm curious as to why so many people on your channel and in general are such big fans of Tulsi Gabbard. I really like her, but I don't even think she's very anti-war. She is way more hawkish than Ron Paul, for example. Like, Ron Paul took the side of Glenn Greenwald and many other people in saying, the terrorists don't attack us because of Islam. They don't attack us because of ideology. They attack us because we were over there bombing them.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the economic, political, foreign policy situation. And when she was on Bill Maher in like 2015, she laughed at that and made fun of that idea and sided with Bill Maher and Sam Harris and the Hawks that said, no, it's because of the Quran. It's just because of Islam. Which I always find funny because Islam is hundreds of years old, right? So why did Islamic terrorism only start in the 1980s? They had bombs, they had money, they had weapons, but suddenly that's when the Quran decided to tell them to bomb us. It doesn't make any sense. And most of our bombings are the war on terror, which she supports.
Well, I think that her position may have changed a little bit since 2015, because she seems to be, wanting to end all the wars. I mean, she's, I know you.
But she doesn't.
Well, what wars is it she doesn't want to end?
So the vast majority of our bombings are the war on terror and then fighting ISIS. Like, of all of our bombings, that's the vast, vast majority. And those two, she's very clearly for. She said we should have been bombing ISIS in Syria, which we should have, I agree. She said we should have been bombing ISIS in Iraq more, which we should have, I agree. And then that she said she's consistently said she's a hawk on the war on terror. So that's all of the other countries, Somalia, et cetera. That's the entire Middle East, basically. So she's good on Yemen. She's good on leaving Afghanistan. But other than that, she's not even saying really leave Iraq, which, again, I agree. But let's not pretend that that's really so intensely anti-war. And in terms of the ideology versus intervention reasoning for terrorism, she still says it's the Wahhabi Salafist ideology that causes terrorism. It's true that the Wahhabi Salafist ideology is
I'm pretty
bad,
sure she wants to bring the troops home from Afghanistan also.
Yes, Afghanistan and Syria to some extent, but that's it, right? So the vast majority of the countries that we're in, she would keep us in. the vast majority of the bombings
Well,
we're doing, we
you
would
can
keep
only
doing.
do so much. You can and you can only put so many of your cards on the table, especially in the middle of a political campaign that's going to be seen by the entire country. You know, I mean, if you tell everybody that look, here's the deal about Tulsi Gabbard. You say I don't understand why everybody's so excited about Tulsi Gabbard because Tulsi Gabbard has said things that other Democrats would never say, like that Hillary Clinton is the queen of the warmongers and the personification of rot that is destroying the Democratic Party. Don't you think that those are glorious words? Can you imagine them coming out of anyone else's mouth?
You're 100% right about that, but the thing is, words are cheap. And she's been very consistent in supporting the vast majority of our imperial military engagements across the entire world.
And she said when she is president, she will pardon Edward Snowden and Julian Assange of all charges that the United States wants to bring against them. Okay?
Yes,
that doesn't sound very hawkish at all, number one. Or in addition. And also she look, she just said this last week that she thinks she said every American should stand up for 9/11 truth. Those are the words that came out of her mouth. Okay?
Yeah.
Now maybe that means something different to her than it does to me, but I thought we had reached a point where we would never actually hear a presidential candidate say something like that. Okay, I thought we had moved beyond that point, and it's so amazing. And I've been waiting for 20 years to hear that, and I'm not the only one. And now you're looking at me going, why are you people so fascinated about Tulsi Gabbard? Well, I think that's pretty obvious, really.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And to be clear, I donated to Tulsi Gabbard to get her on the stage. Like, I don't mean that I don't understand it at all. It's just that I don't understand, especially at this point in the campaign, why people are taking it so seriously, because obviously she has no chance of winning. And obviously...
Which is exactly what they said about Donald Trump.
Longer, but that's totally not... At this point in the race, Donald Trump was leading, and he had been by double digits for months. Totally not comparable.
It's because he was the only person in the media day and night. If they did that with Tulsi Gabbard or any other person, they would be leading. That's what the media did it. The media is still doing it. The media is going to get Donald Trump reelected. It's all they ever talk about. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. So when you go into the fucking thing, all you hear is Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And the choices are turd sandwich or giant douche. So you go Donald Trump. Because
I agree, but you made your own. You kind of killed your own point there, right? Which is to say that getting elected has nothing to do with what's good or right or appealing to the American people. We all know that, right? So, like you just said, the reason that Donald Trump got elected was billions of dollars of free media that Tulsi Gabbard is not getting and will not get.
Right, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't stand up for what's right. Just because the media, they did the same thing with Bernie Sanders, by the way. The media in the 2016 election. They've done the same thing with Ron Paul in the 2012 and the 2008 election. Okay, and you're right. They did not let him win, even though Bernie Sanders easily could have won.
Yep.
And so I hear what you're saying. All the same, the point is, the reason the people are so attracted to her is because she's saying things that really matter to them. And of course, words are cheap. You're absolutely right. But she's saying really important things that no one else is coming wouldn't catch with a 10-foot pole. So
you're right.
So that's why people are attracted to her, and hopefully, look, the deal is, if she wins fucking Iowa, then they can't deny her anymore. Okay? What I hear is there are easily as many Tulsi Gabbard front yard signs across the state as there are Elizabeth Warren. Okay? So if she wins Iowa, and she's even bigger in New Hampshire, from what I hear. Okay, so if she goes boom boom, it's a bam bam done fight. Okay, everybody else is out at that point because she's going to have all the donations.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that I get what you're saying, and I think it makes sense. I think it's good for people to stay strong and keep supporting any candidate, at least in terms that they want, even if they seem unrealistic. At least in terms of those first two states, especially because Iowa is a caucus state where polling isn't the only thing that matters. Even though I don't think that the polling is a total conspiracy, made-up thing, which a lot of people online are saying, and I think that's absurd. It is not some coordinated conspiracy between all these different universities and people. That doesn't mean that it's good polling.
No, here's the way the polls. Look, here's the way the polls work. Okay,
not a total lie.
Look, this is the way the polls work. They call you up and they say, "Are you registered voter?" And you say yes. And you say, "Well, would you like to take a poll?" And you say, "Good, yes." You say, "Okay, did you vote in the last election?" And they say yes. And they say, "Well, did you vote for Republican or Democrat?" And they say, blah blah blah. And meaning Hillary or Trump. And if you voted for Trump, okay, thank you very much for your answers. That person doesn't qualify for the poll. Okay. A lot of Tulsi support is actually Trump voters. So we're clear.
See, so first of all, that is speculation. The idea that, like, this is what the Yang people say too. Oh, we have tons of Trump supporters.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think that's very realistic. I think you're pulling at best a tiny percentage. Those people aren't about to switch. There's zero evidence of that in any sense. Second of all, you can look at all of her live events. I've watched multiple videos of her live events. They're tiny. She's doing Amy Klobuchar numbers when it comes to live events. That is not a reason to think that she's pulling all these Trump voters.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say that I do agree, and there is some polling to back this up, that she does have more appeal to those kind of Trump Republicans than any other Democrat in the race. But more can still be tiny.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
so
right, but that's what I'm saying. There is evidence of that.
Well, there's really. Yes, but it's very slight.
Okay, and you get what it is that I'm saying about the you get what it is that I'm saying about the polls being skewed, right? They call you up and they say, "Were you a Hillary Clinton voter?" And then if you were a Hillary Clinton voter, what do you think of Tulsi Gabbard? They don't even ask. She's not even on their list. I mean, she's there,
right.
But for a Hillary Clinton voter, someone who's that big a Kool-Aid drinker, which is the people they're polling, she's not on those people's list.
You're right. Okay, but then think about in 2016, this is exactly what the Bernie people said, all right? That the polling is off, blah, blah, blah.
And it was.
It was, but exactly, that's what I was going to say, though. It was, but look at the numbers of why, right? Even though he did better than any other Democrat in polling Republicans and right-leaning independents, it was still tiny. It was not this big amount. And then overall, the most important thing I was going to say is he did outperform the polls, right? But only by a few points. So with the exception of Michigan and to some extent New Hampshire, but in Iowa he outperformed by like 4 or 5 points. In New Hampshire he outperformed the polls by, I want to say, 10 points. And then I think in Michigan, which was the biggest one of the whole cycle out of all 50 states, he outperformed by, I don't remember, but I want to say it was almost like 20 points or something. It was big. But that's 3 states, right? In all of the rest of them, the polls were actually pretty accurate. And even with the Hillary v. Clinton polling, it was also actually pretty accurate when you look at the national numbers, which was about 3% Clinton ahead. So the exact a couple thousand in Wisconsin, a couple thousand here and there, that stuff was off. But the polling was actually pretty good. So there's no reason to think that, like, Tulsi is really at 20%, 15%.
No, but I think she's at a point where she should be qualifying she should be qualifying for all the debates, though. And they're acting like she's that far down. Like she's below Amy Klobuchar and fucking Beto O'Rourke, who had to drop out of the fucking race.
Yeah.
Okay? She's not below those people, okay? And then she may, and from what I hear, there's polls coming out of Iowa where it says she's tied with Elizabeth Warren. So,
Okay, so I want to say just one more thing before I get off, because I feel like I'm taking up too much of your time. But this is the one thing I really find bizarre, is that this idea that Republicans would support Tulsi Gabbard. This is a woman who has supported everything conservatives hate on every single other issue. $15 minimum wage. Her climate change plan is more aggressive than the Green New Deal. I mean, everything that people don't want on the right.
See, you keep saying the same thing, and it's the same answer. Okay, they everything that they don't want, except for Hillary Clinton is the queen of the warmongers and the personification of right. That's fucking gold in their ears. That maybe there's a big percentage of Republicans who might think that every American should stand up for 9/11 truth, right? So,
but that's more important than every single other policy area, because I just want to take this one question and
it all boils down to 9/11. We all know it all boils down to 9/11.
If a Republican ran on the most aggressive climate change policy, anti-business, we're going to regulate the banks, we're going to raise the minimum wage to 15, everything that Tulsi believes in on domestic policy, do you think that there's a single person who could run as a Republican and even win a House seat with her positions in a Republican district?
If you had to run against Donald Trump, or if you were somehow against Donald Trump, I don't think that they're
likely.
What's that?
I think that'd be even less likely. But don't you think that's an interesting difference there? Because I think it's a little bit unrealistic. Where it's because they don't give a shit about the Democrats.
I don't understand what your deal is with Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, because somehow it seems like you want to make sure that everybody knows that she's not who she says she is, and that she's, But all I'm saying is that none of the politicians are who they say they are. See, it is. It's 100% true.
No.
Yes, it is. They just pander to people because they know that they can get that group's, but maybe they can get that group as a whole's attention. That's the only reason Donald Trump says abortions are wrong.
Okay, see, but here's the thing. If what you're saying is true, then wouldn't all these Republicans hate Donald Trump? Because what has Trump done with the Saudis that attacked us on 9/11? He's bent down and been their bitch, like Tulsi says, He has betrayed all
Again, something that people are waiting to hear. That Trump, again, is one of these Saudi bitches, okay? Just like the president before him and the president before him.
Yes.
Okay? So that
but my point
sets her apart.
If there was actually this strong anti-war constituency on the right that cared so much about these issues that they're willing to go against 90% of the policy areas that Tulsi disagrees with them on because of the Saudi issue, because of the regime change war issue, all of those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't support Trump anyways. It wouldn't even be close, right? They would be voting libertarian.
Think about the people that really are. Why do you think that they're voting for Trump?
Because of those reasons. I think populism, he's proven.
Yeah, popularism, that's why.
Right?
Nothing to do with Saudi Arabia, nothing, because he's fucking makes people laugh, and he's a good host, and he wants to be, the guy at the party that everybody wants to hang out with and rub elbows with, Okay, that's why.
But don't you think his anti-war stances helped him win?
Donald Trump's anti-war stance, I think that it's completely made up.
Being anti-Iraq war compared to Hillary,
it's completely made up. There's no Donald Trump anti-war stance.
Yeah, but he did run on that, right? He ran against Hillary saying, you wanted the Iraq war, and I said I was against it. And he was lying, but people believed it. I think it helped him win.
Yeah, okay. I think that what got Donald Trump elected was that the Democrats forced Hillary Clinton on the voters, refusing to listen to what they wanted. Again, so turning away a large percentage of their voters from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's one of the most despised figures in American political history, and the Democrats act like they still don't know that after she lost to a fucking carnival barker. Okay?
Yeah.
But Donald Trump, he made every other Republican on the debate stage look like a puppet, a stuffed shirt. Like there was no there in any of them. He just put them down one by the other, and they acted like, and they just kind of fell. And then they did fall. They just fell right onto their knees, right behind him. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
So you don't think that his anti-intervention rhetoric was a big factor in him winning? Because I think it is. I think that after Ron Paul's 08 and 12 campaigns, I think that a significant portion of the Republican Party had a strong backlash towards intervention.
Yeah, I don't think
that he was the only candidate that tried to cater to that, and I think that is part of why he won. I think that people liked that a lot.
Well,
I think that's part of why. All the rest of the Republicans were neocons, basically.
I think it's entirely possible. What you're saying makes a lot of sense because I think there is people that are so tired of war. It's just that when I heard him saying it, I didn't believe it for a second. So maybe that's why I say no. It couldn't have had anything to do with that because it was all bullshit. But if there was people who actually believed it, then yeah, I suppose. But it seems really to me much more like that. Again, it's Hillary Clinton, who Tulsi spelled it out today. She said, we used to be the party of peace, right? But Hillary Clinton wasn't that. I mean, when she's standing up there against Donald Trump, that's why so many people despise Hillary Clinton, I think. Because you can't look at her and think that she's going to make the world a better place. She's going to go out and fuck it up in some horrible way, But I don't know how Donald Trump is really different from that,
Okay, so last question. Do you think, make your prediction now, is Tulsi going to get 10% in Iowa, New Hampshire, any other primary state?
She's going to do better than 10% in New Hampshire. And what really matters is how much time she's going to get at this debate. What she makes happen at this next debate, okay? The debates are key. That's why I keep saying that the debates have such a big different influence on the minds of the voters that if she actually was to go head to head with Donald Trump, I actually believe she could beat him. And I honestly believe that she's the only one. I mean, maybe Bernie could have a chance, but I really don't think so. But her, she stands toe to toe and comes to take care of business. It's not some kind of like, we're going to be buddies after this.
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty much alienated every other candidate, right? So.
Yeah. I think her and Bernie and maybe Yang could win, but anyways, thanks for the call.
Hey man, it's good to hear from you. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, first time I'll call back. Have a good one, man.
All right. Stay cool. Okay, so I don't know what the chip on his shoulder was about Tulsi. I mean, I get that people want to say she's not a dove, and I don't necessarily believe that she is a dove, but I think that she wants to bring a lot of the troops home. I think that the troops have been way overused, and that they deserve better than to be used like cannon fodder. It's fucking stupid bullshit. Hello, caller.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well, and it's Chris from Olympia, and I've been listening to this conversation, and it's been an interesting conversation. I really enjoyed Jane's call earlier. She had some pretty insightful comments.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And I'm glad Dwayne called, but I also the comments that Michael made. That's where I wanted to go back to this question of whatever happened in the desert, in Arizona or in New Mexico, or in Mexico, I guess, where these 9 people were killed.
Ahead.
So I haven't really been following this story very much, right? But you asked a question. I did read something really quickly in the last 30 minutes, but you asked the question, why would they go there?
Yeah.
And
they lived there. That was just, why would Americans travel there with kids is what I was thinking. Those people lived in that area from what I understand.
Yeah, so there was this, there's a public radio program called The Conversation, and they also post articles as well. And it says that their article about this, A Brief History of Mormons in Mexico, is what it's called. It says, the LeBarons have long sought connections with fellow Mexicans to proselytize about their beliefs, right? And the 39-year-old Alex Barrington McKenna has worked for the government of Chihuahua from 2015 to 2018 and was even an elected official in Mexico. But what's interesting is there have been over 33,300 murders in Mexico since 2018. And then also...
and what percentage of those was probably because of the drug war?
Probably a lot. Probably over half, right? A significant amount, I would guess. I don't know the answer to that, but that would be my guess. But when I first heard of this story yesterday, the very first thing that went into my mind is like this resurgence of racist rhetoric that is going to follow this incident.
Well, about Mexicans and stuff, you mean?
About that, and how it's going to be manipulated by the media and the administration to do what they want to do. Which is what they're kind of hinting at right now.
This is what I see too. I see something really strange about this that looks like some kind of there's some things here that don't add up. And it looks like it was done very, very professionally, the killing of these people. And
set up
like
on a road, over half a mile on a road.
Yeah, like it wasn't an accident. Like it was planned, and that these people were targeted, and they're just women and children. And so I think there's something more going on that I can't quite figure out just yet.
And how would it be in the benefit of the cartels to kill a dozen Americans on the border? That would seem counterintuitive to their program.
This is the very first question that you have to ask yourself when something like this happens and it goes to the forefront of the media, is you ask yourself, who benefits, right?
Well, okay, that's a good question, but like Trump, how to put this in the politics of like the Republican and the Democratic Party and their positions on immigration, which is going to be an issue, right, in the upcoming campaign. There was that image
I see them benefiting greatly from this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because remember the little boy in the river who was like face down in the river and the body was flashed on the media like to generate sympathy with the migrants?
Yeah.
Well, this is going, all of that imagery and all of that entire campaign is just going to be washed under the bridge as white Americans feel like, oh my God, they're killing us now. But these people are actually in Mexico. But that is how it will be used. And I found this statistic from Humane Borders, and it said since January 2001, over 3,000 undocumented migrants have died within Pima County, Arizona, OME jurisdiction. The information presented is stark and perhaps unsettling. However, both Humane Borders and the Pima County Office of Management believe that the availability of the information will contribute to fulfilling our common vision. And if you go to their website, there's a map at humaneborders.com. And on the map, there's 3,000 red dots between Phoenix and the Mexican border. Just like they're so dense that when you look at the map, it's just red. And those are people who were in the United States, who died in the United States. There were no services for those people. There was no, sympathy or compassion for those people, and they're dead. They were on American territory. Now, that doesn't give the Mexican government the right to use the Mexican military to go into Arizona and, take over a Pima County because Mexicans are being abused in the United States. See that?
Yeah, I agree. The DEA is like a fucking army of its own, and they're all over Mexico, right?
Yes. So it benefits Trump domestically, like, it's going to help him with his base, and then also it destabilizes a leftist government in Mexico, which is Obrador, or the present leader of Mexico, is a leftist. His leftist center. And there's also this drug legislation that I mentioned to you a few days ago that is going to be postponed until April. Last year, the Supreme Court said the government of Mexico has until October 31st to legalize cannabis in Mexico. Well, because they wanted to change the legislation at the last minute in a committee, they pushed it back to April. And they just found out a few days ago from the Supreme Court of Mexico that, well, that's fine, but you have to get this resolved by April, okay? And that would be a pretty big deal in Mexico because there's a lot of tourists in Mexico. People go to Mexico from all over the world for the beaches and for the culture. So if they were to allow tourists in Mexico City or Acapulco to smoke weed, right? I mean, think about it. I mean, it would be a market. It would benefit them in many, many ways.
I said this. Look, I started saying this in 1997. I was doing a lot of video at that time, and I would tell people again and again and again, you legalize marijuana in Washington State, and Seattle becomes the #1 tourist destination in the world overnight.
It certainly was true in Colorado, right? In Denver, there were a lot of people who went to Colorado after legalization, and they benefited from that. So that I wanted to talk about that, and then there was this other thing that was related to that conversation with Michael about Israel. And I don't personally believe that Jewish people are genetically different than us, and I think that's really dangerous rhetoric to say that. They are people like we are people, and we're just human beings.
Yeah, I don't say anything like that. I never say anything like that.
But there might be a reason why people in Israel act the way that they do. And that is what I find interesting. And I think that the most logical reason as an American, I think we are partially responsible for the ideology of the Zionists from the very, very beginning. For example, Nazi Germany, went through the whole program of killing millions and millions of people because of their ethnicity, right? But they got their ideas. The Nazis got their ideas from the United States. Specifically, like one drop of blood is straight from the race laws of the Confederacy. They studied American law from Reconstruction. They also studied U.S. Indian reservations, like when Kit Carson, it was the Navajo Trail of Tears, their version of the Long Walk, I think they call it. And then they created these camps, like in the 1860s, that were squares, and they had fences around them. They were detainment camps, and that's what the Germans used, as a model for their concentration camps. And then also you have American companies like Ford and IT&T that made huge investments in the Third Reich. So in a way, if the Israelis are a response to the way they were oppressed by the German people and slaughtered, and their response was to emulate them. Isn't that funny? Like, they literally emulated the Germans because the Germans were going into Eastern Europe to take that land for themselves. There was a policy called Lebensraum. And what that was is they wanted to take Poland and the Ukraine and make it into agricultural land like in the United States. They were emulating the Americans, take the land and then settle it with Germans and get rid of the native population by killing them, right? And that's exactly what the Israelis are doing in Palestine. It's the same, like I think someone said the cycle of history, man, earlier or something. Mm-hmm. But it is similar. But I just wanted to note that like a lot of the horror that we ascribe to the Third Reich actually originated in the United States. Remember I told you Edward Bernays, Goering, who was in charge of who was in charge of propaganda, studied Edward Bernays, went to Germany, helped them develop their propaganda technique. Again, that's an American going there to help them. So in many ways, the evil things we saw that developed there, they originated from here. And it's something to think about.
And then they grabbed up a bunch of the Nazi scientists after the war and gave them positions in the CIA.
Right, exactly. And, and American businesses and banks set up shop in Germany and had great relationships with people they were murdering just 3 years earlier. Of course.
Crazy.
So they integrated it into the system, into the global system. But that was an interesting story. And on an up note, I don't want to just leave on it. Well, that's one other note. There's a good article at RT too about propaganda. It's called "Russiagate is a Cult," complete with unquestionable doctrine, dissent shaming, and us versus them cosmology. And I would just encourage people to go and read it if they have time. And what it's talking about is people who believe in magical thinking relative to Russiagate and what happened. Like, for example, they say, such unshakable faith, and faith is a dangerous thing, isn't it, Marx? Such unshakable faith in Russiagate is typically the domain of religion, not politics. But 3 years after the initial claims of Russian meddling in the American election, with sanguine early predictions, Trump would be running home to Putin within months, having thoroughly collapsed. Russiagate resembles nothing so much as a fringe religious cult. The devotees of High Priest Rachel Maddow and Bill Maher may not have a deity, but they have their saints. Former FBI Director Comey, former counsel Mueller, and failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, who continues to play the part of martyr in the interviews. On the side of evil is, of course, Vladimir Putin, portrayed as omnipotent, and Russia is behind all domestic discord and will shut off your heat in the middle of the winter on a lark, and irresistible with a few Facebook groups and clumsy memes, somehow enough to induce black voters to elect a Russian asset. So it's all mystical thinking, right? It's just bullshit.
Yeah, people, no, the Russian thing is, I have a video on this page, on this YouTube page called, it's not Russia, it's not Russia, it's not Russia. So, so I don't buy into that crap at all. That's that's a me on-camera video.
Well, the idea of inverting truth, right? And that is really a religious idea. It really is. That is the core of it. And I think that if you can convince people when they're 5 or 7 or 9 years old or 12 to convince them to believe something that they know isn't true, like there's a teapot floating around the moon or something, and that is true.
Like,
and
how about like the Pentagon is a force for good?
Right. So what happens is when you teach people when they're children how to lie to themselves, but they know that they're lying to themselves, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are the best examples, right?
Hey, don't bring Santa into this.
Oh yeah, Santa's in it, man. Like when you find out when you're whatever, 7 years old or something, you go, holy shit, I've been lied to, right? You're like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Find out what? Find out what?
You've been lied to. Santa isn't real.
What?
Santa's not real.
No. Who told you this?
Somebody a long time ago.
Well, that's an evil person.
I know it, and it was really mean too, because I had to go back into the, it was Christmas, and I had younger siblings, and I was told, you're not allowed to tell your younger siblings. You gotta keep it to yourself, because kids who find out have to keep the secret to themselves. They know it's a lie, but they have to keep the secret to younger people so that they can continue to be indoctrinated, right? Like that. So once you do that to a person, then it's really easy to tell them that the Pentagon is a force for good. Mm-hmm. And that,
or if you control the movies and you supply them with hundreds of millions of dollars a year to make their movies and give them everything they need to make their movies, so that you can have this little bit of say here and there and what it is, how how they're depicted as soldiers and such.
There's a famous quote attributed to John Steinbeck, the writer, and it's this. It says, socialism never took root in the United States because the poor people see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
That's the thing that people,
So
I
with
think
that,
they
with
all
that
see
inverted,
themselves as potentially being rich at some point in the not too distant future.
and that obscures their political choices, that's my opinion. It does, and by doing that, they support candidates like Donald Trump
I think
who don't
something
have
like
their interests at heart.
socialism is an evil.
Right. Or blame the people. Like the reason why a person doesn't have food, and the reason why a person doesn't have a job, the reason why the person doesn't have a place to sleep, it's because they're a bad person. They're just not a good person. They created the circumstances for themselves to suffer.
They made their bed, let them lie in it.
Right. And because I'm a good person, I don't have to worry about it. I can step back and kind of fall into my own reality, and it isn't really my concern. Truly, it's not mine.
Yeah.
That is the kind of mentality that, and that can happen, right? Because as a monkey, or as a human being, Homo sapiens thinking, that it's wrong. Like, that when you see another person suffering on the street, they don't have a place to sleep, they're fucking hungry, that's wrong. But you've been taught to believe it's okay. So you accept it. Even though in your heart you know it's wrong, you know that you're not supposed to say it's wrong. And that's the power of this inverted thinking. And that's the reason why, people being grounded in reality and real policy, and I think that's really important, materialism, where we are now.
Reality seems a little bit subjective, though. Everybody's reality is somewhat different.
Bill Gates' reality is probably different than yours this evening.
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure. Probably pretty sure. Probably pretty right about that. Last one, and I'll go. And that is, this is just a number that I ran across, and it was interesting because it is related to the gun debate, the debate about guns, because these numbers come up in the discussion about death. But the number also more broadly describes just how fucked up our country is in terms of what we allow and what we accept. And it's from a ABC television channel out east somewhere, Virginia. And the article says this: more Americans killed in car crashes since 2000 than in both world wars. That's in 17 years. And it's a wild. Since 2000, more than 686,000 people have died in car crashes in the United States. The figure adds up to be more than the number of Americans killed during both World War I and World War II. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, almost 522,000 Americans died in those two wars. More people have died on the roads in the last 15 years, 17, 18 years, than have died in both of those world wars. From Americans here.
People don't realize how dangerous driving is. They don't. Driving, I think, is part of the hypnosis. It's like you're talking about gotta get them when they're young. When we're young, we get the Hot Wheels cars, and we get the Tonka trucks, and we get the
toys we play with.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cars. Little boys and cars are like, that's always been a thing. You know what I mean? So it's it's part of the program.
Well, now little kids get cell phones with blue light when they're treated. So whatever it is with the technology, we all are using technology. We're using technology in many ways, just talking on the phone and using the computer, right? But the more dependent we become on technology, the less human we actually are. The less what we are, genetically what we are. And that's not going to benefit us in the long run. Anyway, faith, wisdom, or whatever. Wisdom for the ages, blah, blah, blah. So, like I said, the calls tonight were all really good calls. And the one person who was talking about money, though, not the one person talking about money, but as solutions to problems, economic problems that we're facing, I did want to say that Ellen Brown is she's an economist and she's a writer. She also ran, I think, for office in California to be their treasurer in the state of California. And she has two ideas. One is to, of course, have state banks. So you could have, like, the state of California is going to have a bank now, where the city of San Francisco or Los Angeles will have a bank, and that would enable the city to borrow from the bank without having to borrow from a private bank.
Oh man, it's so messed up, dude.
Yeah, that our tax dollars are going to pay private banks for loans. So, and then the other idea she had was as a single coin. She said that the government could print a single coin worth, like, say, $7 trillion.
Yeah.
And then they could put that one coin, which had real value, in a vault. And then they could borrow money against the value of that one coin at no interest or something like that.
I've heard something like that before, too.
Yeah, her name is Ellen Brown, and I'd encourage other folks to check her out. And thank you for spending so much time on the phone tonight.
Hey, Chris. Chris.
Yes.
Did you watch Cause for Applause?
I did.
You did?
It was fun. I did.
You enjoy it?
I watched Cause for Applause, and I did enjoy it. I liked that story, and I thought they did a very good job of adapting it, to their program.
It seemed like what we were talking about on that evening was very.
It is the wristbands that were different wristbands for different causes, and
how people are so public about it, and if you don't have the right wristbands, you get shamed and shit.
I watched Jimmy Dore's discussion about his video came out this morning. It was about Barack Obama, and Barack Obama speaking in front of a public audience and talking about how anybody can just go on Twitter and say whatever they want, but it doesn't mean anything unless you can use it to your favor, like a politician would say. And what was really weird about that is that I lost my train of thought. But
he seemed so different than who he portrayed himself.
He didn't want it. What it came down to is he didn't want to accept any criticism of himself. He didn't want to be criticized, and that is definitely true of liberal Democrats. And I don't vote for Democrats or Republicans, but they're extremely touchy if you criticize them, and that is what a lot of the censorship is about. Clearly, Hillary Clinton has so much corruption in her past, and it was in the public. Her laundry was being displayed in public at the end of 2016. So they had to clamp down immediately on the information so that the public would get distracted. And we went right into Russiagate just by inverting the story, and then, just you believe what you're supposed to believe, like we were talking about. So now we have censorship.
We do. There's no doubt about that.
Stay out of the way of the censors, and virtue signaling. Cause for Applause is about virtue signaling.
Yeah.
So they're so touchy that you can't even tell them that, it just seems to me like you're trying to get attention instead of addressing the root problem. So it just creates a really bad dynamic. I think we're screwed. Good luck on Tulsi's campaign. I know you're going to vote for her. Good luck.
I'm gonna keep talking about her. I mean, I'm very happy she got into the debate. That seems like pretty big information. Pretty good news.
How many folks in the debate?
I think there's 10 right now, but I'm not positive. I think it's I think maybe there might be 9. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Cory Booker's in there or not. I'm pretty sure. I know Andrew Yang is, and Camilla, and Buttigieg.
Yeah, so that's number 1, 2, 3, right? It goes like Warren, Buttigieg, Sanders, something like that in Iowa.
Yeah, I guess.
Something like that. The polls, I know. Who knows if they're right or not. But I'll let you get to the next call, and again, thank you for your time.
Hey, Chris, thanks for calling.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you $3. Only $3, but I will send you $3.
Chris, you know what? No one else has sent anything tonight, or for a couple days, so that makes you really super generous guy. So you know.
All right.
And I know
It's a done
things
deal.
are, and I know things are tight for you, so I really super appreciate it, man.
Yeah, done deal. All right, have a good night.
Okay,
Bye.
Chris, good to hear from you. So, and no one has donated anything so far. I challenge you to tell me different. So, anyways, but I am not complaining. You know, I'm still here when nobody thought I would be, right? Right? Nobody thought I'd be here 16 years later, taking on the Goliath, doing my gig, and but you know, it's because of good people like Chris, people who donate, that Mox News is still here. So thank you so much to everyone who gives something back. So far, no one has. Chris will, though, because he's a man of his word. And I know that when he said he's going to do that, he does. Plus, he said he's going to be $3. He's not going to, if he's not going to do it, he's not going to say it's $3. Hey, I'll give you $50, man. Right on. Which is what I've heard more than once. And it doesn't happen. But I am doing my thing, like I said, 16 years later. There is a new South Park tonight. I'm pretty sure. I didn't check the schedule, but I'm pretty sure, Wilco, there's a new South Park tonight, right? So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming on in a few minutes here. So in case anybody else wants to call, please do so now. Otherwise, I'm going to go have a big fat dab and watch South Park. Are you ready, Wilco? So Wilco says yes, there is a new South Park tonight. So you know, you're gonna okay. I'm gonna heat this thing up, Wilco. So again, thanks to all the callers because I look pretty ridiculous. I mean, I look like me doing this thing, but the callers add a whole new dimension. As I've always said at Mox News, it's the viewers, it's the commenters that give the flavor. You know what I mean? That make the video so much more powerful. The discussions that we create from the videos. So thanks to everyone who called. Thanks to everybody who participates. Thanks to everybody who shows up. I think that we have a good roll going here. We're going to do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Okay, and I'll show up here and I'll start it a couple minutes early, so you know that there's a show coming on, and then we'll go live at 7, and we'll go as long as there's phone callers, unless it's like next week I think I have work. According to my roommate, next week I have work. I got to work 2 days, and it pays my rent, so I can't turn that down. But I think it's late night work. I think I don't have to show up until midnight at work next week. So so I might have to cut it a little bit early, but I think we'll be able to go ahead and do a show Monday through Friday. And we're going to do that this week anyways. So we're not to next week anyhow. So don't worry about next week. Worry about what's happening in 10 minutes, which is South Park. The Prophets, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, are going to share their brilliance with us once again. Love you guys so much. And that was really nice to hear about from Dwayne's wife, Jane. You know, she sounded really sweet, right? And she sounded pretty fucking smart, and I really like her voice. So, so thanks so much to everybody, because this just wouldn't be the same without you. None of this experience, nothing that I've done here on YouTube for the last 16 years. It just would have been, the whole thing would have been completely meaningless without you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in and being there for all this time. And I'm just going to keep doing this until you guys aren't around anymore, or YouTube just decides to censor me, completely again. Of course, that always makes me, that always kind of pisses me off and makes me have to start back up and, strike me down and I'll come back stronger than ever. Do it now! Strike me down, YouTube! Okay, here we go. Oh, that's so good. That's good shit. That's my Nomo Auto Flour. Oh, it tastes so good. All right, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. We'll see you there. Stay cool. One of these days, this war is going to end. Got to end one of these days. Stay cool till that day.